I'm Tara Lynn of Geek Saga Entertainment, and welcome to the 7th annual Drinkin Show, a pre-Dragon Con webcast where we discuss news, updates, cosplay, parties, and more, and have quite a few drinks in the process. Today, I'm joined by Manny and Marcy, and Ashley, one of my usual co-hosts for Drinkin Con, will be joining us very soon, as in hopefully within the next 10 or 15 minutes. So Manny and then Marcy, go ahead and introduce yourselves, share any social media info you might have, give me a brief synopsis of your Dragon Con history, and do not forget to tell everybody what you're drinking.
Hey guys, my name is Manny. You can find me online at Manny's Art, where I am slowly getting better and better in art all the time. I have a nowhere near as much experience as everyone else in Dragon Con, but I have probably gone about 5 times. First time was in 2012, and I had no idea what I was walking into, and I felt really anxious and nervous, and I felt dumb because I was wearing a costume, and then all of a sudden I saw there was just this entire mecca of everyone dressed up, and I really felt at home. So that's pretty much my history. I'm drinking the the ever so wonderful White Claws
Keep it
because,
classy.
yeah, as I'm getting older, my stomach is like, bruh, you can't drink like you used to anymore. You know.
I got the Pepsi next to the bed for the morning. I'm Marcy. You can find me Marcy_ATL any and everywhere. I was trying to figure out my first Dragon Con. I usually save my badge pass, and the oldest one I could find was 2015. So maybe 2015. I used to be super into cosplay. Then I started doing panels, and I felt strange being in cosplay on stage. So now I just go as me, and I'm drinking Yingling. Very exciting.
Hey, Yingling is my Dragon Con to go beer. Honestly, I always bring other beers. Like I'll bring a couple 6-packs of good beer, but Yingling is the one I get like 2 cases of. So I that is the Dragon Con beer, honestly. For me, and honestly, I think for a lot of people in my friend group too.
If it's not like a craft beer, it's Yingling. It's good.
So once Ashley joins, we'll have her reintroduce herself and whatnot. But as I already mentioned, I'm Tara. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at a Geek Saga, and on the web at a geeksaga.com. I've been attending Dragon Con since 2012, and tonight I am drinking a plethora of things because I don't have time to go refill things while I'm doing this. So right now I'm drinking a pre-made espresso martini with a dash of milk. I have a vodka soda waiting in the wings and a cooler backpack. It is ye old booze backpack. I have a newer booze backpack for Dragon Con. So this is ye old booze backpack packed with some ruby grapefruit White Claws. So also don't forget that Geek Saga Entertainment now has a Patreon with 10 tiers ranging from $1 a month to $40 a month. It offers tons of ways to support us and receive some great perks in return, including whenever Manny and I get back at it sometime after Dragon Con, our 90s and Naughties Cringe Factor series, in which we watch 90s and early 2000s rom-com like teen movies and make fun of them. So all that said, it's time to list out the drinking game rules. So, we drink when any of the following happens or is mentioned: legacy hotel rooms, the Dragon Con app. That one's always rough. The word habitrail is used. When any of the cults are mentioned, and we're going to do this in a first time they're mentioned thing because I forgot to weave that caveat into this rule in previous years, and it gets kind of messy now that there are so many cults: Carpet, Trashy, FedEx, John, 36 dozen eggs. I feel like we did closed for cleaning, and then we were like, nah, that's stupid. And then they never did it again anyway after 2021. So I might be missing a cult from last year, but I don't know. If anybody in the chat can think of a cult that I might be missing, let me know. We also drink the first time a specific party is mentioned. So if Bunny Hunch is mentioned 3 times, we only drink that first time. If Heroes and Villains is mentioned 2 times, we drink the first time it's mentioned. This next one, I have tried my best this year, as I did last year, to halt the forward movement of it, but whenever there is a pet or animal related interruption, I think Marcy says she is probably going to be the culprit, the biggest culprit for that this year.
Yeah.
And then when I mention being an attending pro, or I guess, I'm going to go with House of the Dragon. I usually go with Red Dead, but I'm not doing any Red Dead stuff this year, so it literally wouldn't make any sense. So yeah, I'm going to say when I mention being an attending pro or House of the Dragon, when Ashley comes on, it'll be when Ashley mentions Canada or being Canadian or Final Fantasy. And Manny, do you want to give your two things that you have to drink for, or people? Well, sorry. Your two things that we have to drink for if you mention them.
Oh yeah, well, I'm gonna throw in Final Fantasy in there anyway because I feel like that's what I'm gonna say. And anytime I mention that I'm from Miami, if I ever say that,
Oh, okay, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's already.
That's usually a culprit on our podcast.
Yep.
What about you, Marcy? What are your two things?
I'll say definitely Red Rising because I'm gonna mention Red Rising every chance I get, and Animal Rescue.
Okay. Yeah, I know we'd been back and forth. You had said special needs animals, and I was like, do we want to go with special needs animals? Do we need to go less specific? Because this is Drinkin Con, and we are supposed to get ridiculous. Now, not too ridiculous. Don't make yourself sick or anything like that. If you need to cut yourself off, it's understandable. But okay, all that said, now that we've got our drinking rules laid out, we're going to start with Dragon Con tips and tricks and 2023 registration, which is at the hotel formerly known as the Sheridan, aka the Cortland Grand. First, honestly, real quick before because this is technically a new news thing, but we might as well just get it out of the way. The Sheridan switching owners and names. Does anybody have any feelings about this? I've never cared about the Sheridan, so I don't, but
yeah,
people do.
I avoid the Sheridan at all costs, so I'm indifferent. I go on a press pass, so I don't have to enter the Sheridan if I don't want to, so I don't.
Oh, same.
I always felt like that hotel was kind of like the dark alleyway to get to another hotel. Where you're like, oh, we can kind of get there. Like it's like a shortcut. It's like, oh, we can get there, but we have to go through the Sheridan. That's how I've kind of always felt. Now, the first year that I was there in 2012, I mean, I had an entire bottle of wine within an hour sitting on a couch in there because I was just so excited and I didn't know how to really regulate my drinking back then. So I really went off the chain. So that was my only experience. And I met Felicia Day there at Sheridan. Yeah, and it was surprising to see her there because I was like, why are you here? This is not the best hotel of all of them.
And you said you started going in 2012, Manny?
Yeah, that was.
Wow. I assumed you'd been going for way longer than me.
Nope. My convention experiences when I was younger pretty much came to back in the 90s. I used to go to the comic book conventions in Miami, and
okay, there we go.
And in Orlando and stuff. But back then it was mostly like Artist Alley kind of stuff. There wasn't really any type of costuming. I never saw costuming. The first time I saw costuming was in where was it? It was some anime convention that was in Miami, and it was the first anime convention I went to, and that was the first time I'd ever seen people dressed up, ever. And I was probably 24 or something like that. I had never seen that, before that. So I had no idea what I was walking into when I went into 2012, because I did this thing. I made a metal exoskeleton suit that was like Tony Stark when he's making the Iron Man, outfit. And I was waiting in line, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be so dumb. And I felt so out of place. And then I just kind of looked at the line, and everybody was dressed up, and I was like, oh, okay, this is fine. I can do this.
I never dressed the couple years that I waited in line at registration. I never dressed up to wait in line. I think one year I wore Inuyasha years, and that was my bow to cosplay while waiting in a 3-hour registration line at the Sheridan. But yeah, so anyway, it's at the Sheridan this year. None of us really care about the Sheridan, and we all avoid it at all costs, not surprisingly. I did get some intel through various official DragonCon sources, pieced together basically from the progress report and some things that they apparently put in their Discord, that attendance is supposedly limited this year to a number between 2019 attendance and last year's attendance. So more than 2022, but not as bad as 2019. I mean, I would like a better pointer. Like I would like a better point than that, because 2019 was the worst. So if it could literally be, 2018 was kind of bad too, and so was 2017. If we took it back to like 2015 levels, which was still way higher than last year, I'd be happy. But yeah, I don't know. I hate that they won't give an exact number, but it is what it is. Yeah. They do have day passes available, but again, they're limited. I think day passes have to be bought ahead of time, as in like you have to buy them before a certain date, possibly like a week beforehand or a week before this, like by Wednesday or Thursday of this week. To be honest, it's been very hard to find information this year, because I guess it all goes places that I don't frequent, aka the Discord. But also, and I guess this was the case last year and possibly in 2021 as well. I don't know, but all badges have to be purchased through Growtix. So while you might be able to buy badges during the convention, you have to get them online via Growtix before picking up your badge at registration, which is, I don't know, it is what it is. It is what it is, DragonCon. Somebody's hold on, I gotta show this. Rip Sheridan. I mean, really? Rip Sheridan, though?
It was Rip Sheridan many years ago. It was like an autopsy. You already knew it was dead. You just had to try to figure out why it's dead, you know?
I think about the Sheridan, and I just think about, first of all, I think about people standing in line waiting to get in to get their badge. But then I think about like the furries and their like full blown fur costumes standing in that Atlanta heat. And I'm like, if I had to do this, I just wouldn't go. Like, I can't imagine standing in those like those super hot, or anything, you know, like the armor or whatever. Like, it's so hot and you're just standing, you're stagnant for like 2 hours. Like, the Sheridan makes my eye twitch.
Honestly, after an experience I had this summer at a Red Dead convention, which I'm not making you guys drink for Red Dead, go me. But after an experience I had this summer at a Red Dead convention, I think that waiting in line for the Sheridan badges is like weak sauce, but that might just be me. So anyway, blah, 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 attendance registration. It is what it is. I'm hoping it won't be. And Patrick in the chat was saying that it gets way too crowded. Even in 2021, when attendance was allegedly cut in half, it was too packed to move in a lot of places. Personally, I didn't experience that in 2021 or last year, but I also, 2019, actually even 2018 were so bad that 2021 and 2022 felt like God's grace upon us. So, anyway, new news for 2023. As far as I know, there are no masks required anywhere at all this year. Again, if anybody knows otherwise, please let me know. Last year, they were required in panel rooms. Supposedly, the hilarious part about that is only one of the tracks that I spoke on panels for actually required them for both panelists and audience members, and would go around and uphold that rule. It was the high fantasy track. Everybody else didn't really seem to care. So there's that. And I don't know. I mean, honestly, the masks last year, you were there last year, Marcy. So like the masks last year in the panel rooms felt silly. I don't really feel, I'm not mad about them not upholding the mask rule in panel rooms, because there was no mask mandate in Atlanta anymore like there was in 2021. So nobody was wearing them anywhere else.
Right.
So, all right. Other new news for 2023. Oops, the strike.
No.
And I say this with all the respect in my heart. I completely I completely agree with what is going on with the writers and actors strike, but do either of you have any information that you want to share before I just like read what I know about it in terms of how it pertains to Dragon Con? No.
No.
So guests will not be able to talk about struck works or sign anything other than basic headshots or things you bring from home. However, whether or not they will sign like a picture you have printed from a show they were on or a Funko Pop of their character is actually up to the guest. I have not heard that I've not heard anything about other conventions that have happened in the past month or two where anybody actually refused to sign something that people brought from home, but it is possible. So just keep that in mind if you're going to the Walk of Fame expecting to get things signed. According to a friend of mine, in regard to guest panels, and this is somebody who is, I don't remember if he's an attending pro or a guest at Dragon Con. There's a difference. It's very slight, but he said that they are setting up a Discord server where you can pose questions specific to each ballroom for the celebrity panels. The moderators will have access to that, along with having pre-planned generic questions that are already set for each day. So it sounds like there will not be any you get to go up to the mic and ask a question, which is surely for the best, because have you guys been to actor panels before or guest panels before and just cringed at the questions that people ask sometimes?
Yeah, almost every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've only went to like two. I went to Gillian Anderson and I went to the BSG panel. Those were the
in
only two panels.
2015?
There
was one I went to. It was probably the same
2013. I think it was 2013.
Yeah, actually, I think you might. Yeah, I think
it was 2013, and that was like those were the only two panels I ever went to. I got so much more into like into the social life and stuff that I just never went to panels unless it was like a friend of mine who had a panel or something like that. Then it was like, okay, well, I'm gonna go support them and stuff like that. But that was about it.
Yeah, I've only been to a couple guest panels at Dragon Con. I've been to them at other conventions. And I was a moderator on a guest panel last year at Dragon Con. And thankfully, when I was a moderator, it wasn't so much like people asking awkward questions, but it was the people getting up and telling like a 5-minute story before they get to their question. That's also a problem. So I'm really happy that they're doing this. And I know it sucks to not get to actually stand up there and ask your question yourself, but whew, yeah. So that said, the Marriott Lion incident. You live in Atlanta, Marcy. Has the Marriott Lion that got hit by a car been fixed? Do you know, or did you hear about this?
Oh, but now I'm gonna drive by tomorrow because I desperately want to know. What a bizarre thing to happen, though. Like, how?
I had no idea. That's crazy. I didn't even hear. This is the first time that I heard about it. Was reading it. I was like, wait, what happened to the Lions?
Yeah. Do you? Yeah, actually, all I know is somebody hit it. Do you know anything more about it?
That's all I know.
Okay, you live local, so it's like you
10
might.
minutes away, and I have no idea.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So you don't know if it's been fixed yet?
I'm not sure.
So anyway, one of the Marriott Lions is Tyler says targeted lion attack. One of the Marriott Lions is missing a head. And the poop lions, for anybody, like, when I say Marriott Lions, I realize I probably need to actually say the poop lions.
The poop lions. That's how I know them by the poop lions.
Oh Lord.
Let me see if I can find anything online, but I have not found anything yet.
Yeah, I mean, if it was a clean break, maybe they fixed it already. It just feels so weird to
popped it back on.
Yeah.
All the gum stuck to it.
Yeah, they just used some Gorilla Glue.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Well, the gum stuck to the side of it. You know,
they can just wait until the convention. I mean, with all the powers combined of all the cosplayers, they can put it back together. I promise.
Yes, yeah. Every one of those cosplay fix-it people. What do they call themselves? Like cosplay there's people have different names for it when
medics
they do
or
it.
whatnot.
I love
I
those.
saw,
I
yeah.
love that.
Yeah, cosplay medics, cosplay fix it people, fix it Felix or cosplay. I don't know. Like all those people, they just need to get together with all of their fixing supplies and get that head back on if it's not. But yeah, like you said, such a bizarre freaking thing to happen. How do you run that far off the road on that road at like an off time too, even in the middle of the night or whatever?
I'm picturing the line, and like no matter what happened, I don't understand how the car could have gotten to the line. Like, did it soar through the air? Like, it just didn't. I can't picture it logically.
I've seen a lot of, I've lived in, I live in Lawrenceville, so it's not terribly far from Atlanta. And spending some time with some of the drivers here. It makes sense to me that somebody did that with their car, And as somebody who came from Miami, which is notorious for like terrible drivers, I never felt afraid driving there. Here, I'm like, I don't feel good.
Yeah, and oh my gosh, I just had a thought. Little do we know they're actually filming another Baby Driver movie. Oh, okay. Daniel in the chat says it was a semi truck.
Okay. Still,
at least that's more normal.
Thank you for the information, but also that kind of gives me more questions. How fast? Why were they going that fast right there?
I mean, maybe they were delivering something and made the turn wrong. Like, I don't know. Anyway, we could try to figure this out for who knows how long. But anyway, nobody knows if it's been fixed apparently, so I guess we'll see. One thing we always just kind of bring up is last minute hotel room blocks. And obviously this is so late in the game that who knows if it doesn't really matter for anybody, because I don't think there's going to be any actual con rate room blocks opening this late. But for future years, we always like to mention when they happened and with what hotels. So the Hyatt has opened several blocks throughout the year. One was maybe legacy rooms, but every time they've opened a block, even the ones that weren't legacy, they were all gone in like minutes. The Westin opened rooms at least once, and they were also gone pretty quickly, though nowhere near as fast as the Hyatt rooms. And then as recently as a month and a half or 2 months ago, at least one downtown non-host hotel, I think it was the Ritz, had rooms available. I don't know that they still do. I would doubt it. But, compared to previous years, there's still not as much availability and people trying to trade off legacy or lease their legacy rooms. Drink. Sorry, guys.
No one told me you couldn't see my Red Rising shirt. Okay, I'll take another drink.
So, yeah, I don't. It's not as much availability as there was last year and the year before, but there's still more availability than there honestly really had been since even in 2012, when for my first year, I booked my hotel room for that year in like October or November of 2011. And it was like the last hotel in downtown Atlanta that had rooms left, and it was behind the Westin. So close and still downtown, but not even in a host hotel adjacent. So in terms of being official with DragonCon, but anyway, so still room blocks opening throughout the year. Hotel themes, and other things about the hotels. Apparently, so have either of you ever stayed at the Sheraton or the Westin?
Not during DragonCon.
No.
Okay. Apparently, the Sheraton and the Westin never had the special DragonCon keys, but they will for the first time this year. Oh, I'm sorry, the Cortland Grand.
The Cortland Grand. Yeah.
I should have made that a rule anytime we say Sheraton instead of Cortland Grand. Oh, no, I'm not adding a rule this late in the game. But yeah, so apparently they're getting special DragonCon keys for the first time ever this year, which I had no idea they never had them. I thought that was an all-host hotel things, but I guess it was just the big three. The Hilton theme sounds like it's going to be Mario.
Yes.
So I know, Manny, you used to stay at the Hilton, right? Or I don't know if you're staying this
Yeah,
year.
not this year, but yeah, I stayed there. I think for 4 years, I think,
Mm.
or whatever. And I didn't really see any themes or anything. The last year I was there, 2019, it was bumping. Like they changed something in some type of management there because they had the karaoke, they had the dance parties, and generally we would go to like the Pulse. That was where we always hung out at. But this time around, I spent very little time there. That was the last time I went, was 2019. And we went and we would just hang out here because I was like, man, this is way better. I mean, there was more room to move and it was still super packed, so there was a lot of people to talk to and hang out with. Way better, at least for me anyway.
Yeah, 2019 at Hilton, it looked really cool in there, and like you said, it was bumping like DJs in the lobby all the time and stuff. But it was like too crowded for me, so I didn't really want to spend much time there. But yeah, they've continued with the theming. In 20 was it 2021 that they did Stranger Things, or was it last year? One year was Stranger Things, and I don't remember what the other year was. But yeah, there have been the past 2 years they've continued with the theming. They didn't do as much of like the DJ crowded lobby thing for obvious reasons, but yeah, they're still doing a lot. And Daniel in the chat says they have to redeem themselves from last year's alcohol lockdown. Holla.
Alcohol lockdown. What happened with that?
Oh my God. So our room party this year / our room this year is literally Dragon Con disaster movie things because of all the crazy shit that happened last year. But the Hilton was the biggest culprit. And one of the things was that they were checking bags if you were walking in through the habit trails. Sorry, drink. So they were checking bags if you were walking in through the habit trails, and they were telling you couldn't enter if you didn't throw out alcohol if you had it on you. So I saw Marcy, I saw you raise your hand.
That's crazy to me. Like that's ridiculous. That's crazy.
Because they want you to pay for those $12 of drinks is what it is.
Yeah. And then you'll get your $24 small Starbucks. Are they going to do that this year? I find that bizarre.
I think they stopped doing it last year because I walked in there with a backpack full of booze at one point and they didn't stop me. I also walked in there with it was a teacup looking thing like this, but with a lid that had booze in it, and they didn't say anything. Because before that, they had literally been stopping people that had anything in their hands that looked like it was other than water. So, including going through bags. But also, I mean, like Manny said, I get it. Like you want to sell drinks, but I don't think that it was that. It was the Hilton was under new management last year, and it got bought out sometime between 2021 and 2022. And the people who were running it were just like, oh, and we got Ashley just in time to talking about Dragon Con disasters. Ashley was my reporter extraordinaire last year because we're roommates at Dragon Con. And every time I came back to the room, Ashley had news for me. So Ashley, real quick, we're just talking about Hilton alcohol bullshit from last year. So if you want to break in and reintroduce yourself and social media handles, when did you start going to Dragon Con, what are you drinking, et cetera, before we continue on to other news.
Ashley, are you from Canada?
I don't know if Ashley can hear us. It looks like she can't.
Yeah,
it looks like she can't. No, she's muted, but she's not talking. Hold on.
Maybe she's speaking in Morse code with blanks.
Technical difficulties. No, we can't hear you either. There's always technical difficulties on this webcast. This is why, like, I do love editing the podcast version because I can at least get rid of all this shit. Ashley, my suggestion would be to leave and then come back in. Leave, check your audio settings on your computer, and then come back in because StreamYard sometimes just unplugging it and plugging it back in works. Oh no. We've got somebody who actually stays in the West End. This is my friend Patrick. I honestly had no idea he stayed in the West End. I know very few people who stay there. So
Yeah, well, you know what? Patrick is a classy guy. And classy guys got to stay at classy hotels. So I totally get that. Believe me, there ain't no judgment from me. I just recognize a gentleman when I see one. That's all.
Real recognizes real.
So, anyway, Hilton theme is probably Mario this year. Oh, also karaoke is back at the Hilton. They have gotten rid of the Iceberg Lounge from last year, which is another part of our disaster movie story. And I don't know, I know Manny, you weren't there, but the Hilton tried to have like an exclusive iceberg. They called it the Iceberg Lounge, and it was just like a black light. Or not even black light. It was like a blue light, blue and pink. My friend called it bisexual lighting in their rooftop restaurant or bar or whatever it is. And they were charging people, like, if you wanted to sit, it was a Vegas or Miami club sort of situation where you had to pay like $600 for a table to sit.
No.
Like you got a bottle of liquor or 2 bottles of liquor or whatever, but
Nope.
Mm-hmm. So no Iceberg Lounge this year. They learned their lesson. Karaoke is back in the same place, Nikolai's Rooftop Bar, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Hyatt theme. So Hyatt's been doing themes for a while, but I feel like there was 1 or 2 years where they announced it ahead of time, and then every other year since I've just shown up and been like, oh, I guess this is their theme this year. Mm-hmm. So don't know what their theme is. I'm sure they're doing something. I also wanted to say they posted about a new carpet on their Instagram, which is weird because they had new carpet in the hallways of like every floor last year. It was like this sort of mossy green spotty looking carpet. So they had new carpet last year. So I don't know if they're trying to start it with that carpet or if they're replacing that carpet or putting carpet somewhere else, like maybe down in the ballroom levels. I don't know. But they made a post on their Instagram, which had a caption like starting a new cult of the carpet. And I both love them for trying to embrace the things.
Trying.
And cringe, because that's not how cults start at Dragon Con.
Right.
And also drink because cults.
Cult 101. You can't just start another carpet cult.
Hello.
Yay!
I can hear now.
Yay! Okay.
Sorry. Many
So
difficulties.
that's okay. We just finished talking about hotel news, So we'll go ahead and break for a second from newsy stuff so that you can reintroduce yourself to people who might not have seen this or heard this before. Tell them where they can find you on social media. When did you start going to Dragon Con, and also what are you drinking?
All right. I am Ashley. I have been going to Dragon Con for, I think this is my 10th official year because of the COVID years. They don't count. It's right. Okay. So I am originally from a podcast of Ice and Fire in the Game of Thrones fandom. I'm on Twitter as Ashley Clegane, but I'm mostly on Facebook, Ashley Dawn. And yeah, it's mostly Ice and Fire fandom. I'm dabbling into Final Fantasy these days. That's what I've been playing a lot of. But yep, that's where I am.
All right. So one last bit of newsy stuff. Speaking of cults, again, sorry, drink. Oh no, my espresso martini is gone.
Oh, I'm trying to be festive. I added an umbrella.
Yay. So speaking of cults, there actually is a new costume contest this year. It takes place on Saturday evening. It's the Cult of Dragon Con costume contest. And I just find it fucking hilarious that they are doing a Cult of Dragon Con costume contest. Like, it has got all of these cults have gotten so big that they are actually doing an official Dragon Con costume contest.
So I'm assuming that's more than just the Marriott carpets. That would be
FedEx John.
Is that a costume now? Has it evolved to that?
Oh yeah,
already?
yeah. Well, so last year it wasn't that big, but in 2021, the FedEx John costumes that were supposed to be for 2020 were everywhere.
Okay.
So yeah, I assume trashy. Maybe there'll be like a FedEx John breakoff that's like the googly eye thing. I'm honestly not
I can
sure
see
because
googly eyes being a cult.
Yeah, because they don't list anything in the description of the costume contest about what actually counts, but there's enough of them, I think, now, and enough people that do because I think they're probably allowing like mashups and stuff too. I just think this is like both a little weird and a little silly and also very cool.
Also very Dragon Con.
Yes, exactly.
On brand.
Yeah. So
would we be able to like go in with our Sheridan costumes?
I don't know. I actually don't know because I don't think there was ever like a cult of Sheridan Legionnaires disease cult, because that is kind of like people got very sick and I think someone actually died from that. Doesn't make it any less of a disaster, but I don't know. I don't think there's any sort of cult thing, surrounding it. But so
will we see Hilton disaster costumes?
Oh God, I hope so. Well, I don't know, because again, like it's a cult thing, so I guess it depends on if there's going to actually be cults that crop up from the disaster stuff from last year. And I think it's only our little friend group that finds it. I mean, everybody found it hilarious, but I think it's only our little friend group that's actually like theming shit around it. But yeah, so the costume contest that they're doing for Cults of Dragon Con, registration starts at 5:30 p.m. on Saturday, and the costume contest starts at 7 p.m. There wasn't any information yet on where all this was going to be. I did check the app earlier to see if it had updated, and at least on my end, actually, let me double check. So I actually think I stopped it from loading. No, yeah, it has not fully updated yet. The app is available, and also drink because the app. Sorry. Someone's asking, is there a cult of the poop lions yet? I feel like after one of them lost its head that there's like a martyr situation here, and there probably should be, but I haven't heard anything. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist, because apparently I'm totally out of the loop this year, or at least way more out of the loop than I usually am. So yeah, the Dragon Con app is available, but it is not updated with all the info yet this year, which is funny because last year it literally updated the day we did this webcast. So anyways, oh God, and that was the next thing I was going to talk about anyway. 2023 app, LOL, drink. And again, app is out, but of course, some info. So have any of you guys downloaded the app for this year yet?
It takes up so much memory space that I'm waiting until last minute, and then I'm deleting it right away.
Yeah,
that's it. That's why my phone keeps saying storage. Okay, good to know. Good to know.
It's whoever they have creating it and running it, they're not good at. I know that Dragon Con is a lot of stuff, but there are better ways to do this, y'all. But the background is a lot. And if anybody in the chat has downloaded it yet, you know what I'm talking about. I say this, and now it's updating again. Okay, they did fix it a little bit. So you see how the apps or the little inter app things are on a black background now. Before they were not, and it's this dragging scale background. So it was like all these tiny little icons and all this tiny little lettering on this dragon scale background. So they have at least fixed that where you can now like see it better. But originally it was like, whoa, this background is a lot. And I'm like, do I have to like take a screenshot of this and zoom in to see this shit? Because I'm getting old. And Patrick says it's so laggy, and I agree. I will use the app before the convention to find things that I want to do. If I think I have time to do them, which is a little rarely, but I usually don't ever bother even opening it while I'm at the convention. So I also like, I know that you can add stuff to your schedule, and like if you friend people on the app, they can see your schedules and stuff, but I don't know. I don't need people
I
because
usually check times of stuff, and that's pretty well it.
I'm going to say this, and it's going to mean you all have to drink. People can already see where I am because I'm an attending pro. All they have to do is go into my attending pro profile thing on the DragonCon app and see all the panels I'm on. So I don't need people knowing where I am. Otherwise, like if you're my friend and you want to know, you can send me a message. Okay.
This was a poorly thought out umbrella. I'm attempting to fix it. It's very important that I have it, though.
Oh yes, of course. You have to be festive. Yeah. So yeah, the background was a lot, but they did fix that. So yay! I love that I made these notes like a few days ago, and they've already fixed it. So, and I didn't know nothing publicly, but maybe somebody else complained. I do love the joke events that they come up with. At least since last year. It was a new thing last year, I think. But my favorite one this year is the shared con nightmare where you aren't ready yet.
I've had that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I want to say it was like last year, Ashley. I kept having this recurring nightmare where I wasn't ready for DragonCon, but in the end it turned out I wasn't actually going to DragonCon. It was your wedding I was supposed to be going to. And I was like, I got married 4 years ago. Why am I having this like weird combo Keishley Con nightmare? Oh my gosh. So somebody says they want to play 3 geese in a trench coat. Oh, that must be. So I think they must have also added stuff in the gaming sections because that's not in the schedule section. But in the schedule section, there's apparently a pet costume contest, which my friend Sydney, the service dog who lives on our floor at the Hyatt, would be the winner of that, I'm sure. They also have build your own thermonuclear warhead. Extra materials fee applies. The Barbie and You microplastics. Mars rover iron ficker contest. So it's a fan fiction writing contest about the Mars rovers.
Rover? I am kind of intrigued, and it exists.
I mean, I would Oppen ethics. A debate about the other half of Barbenheimer. What was that movie? So yeah, if you haven't downloaded the app and you're interested in checking out their honestly very funny things that they put, the interim things that they put in there, I would do it soon because again, last year the app was actually updated with real events 2 weeks, Saturday 2 weeks or a week and a half, I guess, before DragonCon. So download it and check it out if you wanna see things while they're still there, because they are honestly pretty hilarious. All right. The other thing is check the Facebook groups or other social media for any tracks that you're particularly interested in. So are you guys? Do any of you belong to Facebook? I know Marcy, you do, because I think we found each other in the sci-fi lit track.
Yeah. Yep.
We're like,
together for high fantasy track, I believe, and then came to that realization in a DragonCon. Was it a Red Rising? Red Rising group.
It was the sci-fi lit track where one or both of us were commenting about Red Rising and whether or not there would be a Red Rising panel, which there's not, but it's okay. We Red Rising fans are going to make our own fun.
Yeah.
That's right. Hail Reaper.
Spearhead it next year.
I mean, I'm honestly shocked the sci-fi lit track director didn't have a Red Rising thing this year. Like, it's the 6th book, the second to last one in the series. There's been 4 years without a book, and it's been huge. Like, the fandom has quadrupled since Dark Age, even, I think. Okay, it's probably doubled since Dark Age. It's like quadrupled at least since Iron Gold. So
oh yeah. Oh, I practically harassed her about it. I think it was just a matter of like when the book came out. It was just still though. It's like, come on, that if you're a sci-fi fan, I can go on for days. I better just stop right now.
Yeah. So yeah, but there are a bunch of Facebook groups and other social media, but honestly, mainly Facebook groups is where I get my info for the separate tracks. I know actually you said you are a member maybe of the musical one or musical theater one.
Yeah.
So I didn't even know that one existed until like a few months
I
ago.
mean, it's not an official track, but we do have some panels, so we're working on it.
That's interesting.
We're the foot's in the door.
Because I did see that it was marked as unofficial for the Facebook group, but so like, where are their panels located then?
I'd have to go check to see what the rooms are. I don't know if they were listed even yet.
Or well,
but there are a couple that they've gotten approved.
I more meant like where, like with what track, or are they just somehow independent? You don't know. I mean, I know you're not like on the board.
No, I'm not heading it up or anything like that. I'm just in the Facebook group. I talk about Phantom when it comes Ashley? Yeah, if they're talking about Phantom of the Opera, then I'm just like all over it. And I know when that panel is. It's on Monday, but the other one,
I someone added me to that Facebook group because I think actually it was one of my it was one of the other cast members of Queens, which is a parody musical of Six and Game of Thrones Song of Ice and Fire, and I'm pretty sure she added me to that because they were talking about Six and they were going to do like a virtual panel about Six, and I was like, I would love to be on this, but I've actually never seen it in person, so I don't feel like I deserve to be on this. Sad face. But yeah. Anyway, so photo shoots. Oh wait, no. Hold on. No, I already went there. Sorry. I feel like that espresso martini hit me hard. I haven't had enough to eat today. Honestly, that's the problem. Photo shoots. So DragonCon group photo shoots on Facebook is facebook.com/group/DCon photos. The shoots seem to be back to normal this year. There's no rules about masks or anything that I can see. Are any of you guys planning on doing group photo shoots?
Yes.
I like to watch. I always go to the X-Men one. Always, or well, Marvel, but I don't ever participate. I just watch.
Yeah, I definitely just like to watch too. I was part of one like photo shoot, like group photo shoot. That was it. So I didn't do anything after that. But I definitely enjoy going and watching.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I feel like people watching cosplay in particular is like half of DragonCon. Not such a good showcase, the photo shoots.
Really half, like for me, it's like saying it's half of DragonCon is underselling it a little bit. I mean, I really enjoy like just hanging, like just perched off of a balcony and just like watching everybody all day. I love it.
Yes. This year will be my little sister. I'm the oldest of four. She's the baby. This is going to be her first DragonCon. Couldn't be more excited. Could not be more excited.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
I told her this is how I framed it to sell it to her. It's like a nerdy rave. And she was like, I'm there.
So Ashley, what
I am
doing?
quite
I know
the
you're probably doing
cosplayer.
Yeah.
So for the official ones, I am going to Has Been Hotel Hell of a Boss on Friday night. I'm really excited for that because it is a very makeup heavy fandom. So I'm very curious to see what everyone does for it because it's going to be, it's body paint and contacts and prosthetics. So it's going to be fun to see in the Hilton Steps. On Friday in the afternoon, I'm going to be on Final Fantasy. Me and my husband are giant Final Fantasy 14 players and fans, and we also played 16 when it came out. Oh, sorry. I guess that was part of the rules.
Not mad.
So we're definitely going to that, and we're actually going to go to the Saturday one. I only am doing Final Fantasy one of the days, but my husband's doing it both days. It's like his thing now. That's what he does. Is Final
Fantasy 14 stole my life. Yeah. So yes.
Yeah.
I totally.
So you understand?
Yes, completely, 100%.
Okay. He's got. I'm making an Urianger costume, and he's already got an Emmett's Elk. So
yeah,
gotta do them both.
I think next year I'm gonna try to do the Estinian like dragoon armor thing.
The armor?
Yeah, with the armor, and I'm gonna have like the Eye of Nidhogg
Nice.
that glows and like smokes and stuff.
Oh,
you
that's
know.
that'll be awesome.
Yeah, that's gonna be the one costume I'm working on for next year because it is going to take me the entire time to
Yeah,
make that costume.
that's full scale armor.
Yeah, that is full scale. That's the armor, actually, Tara, that I had mentioned when we watched House of the Dragon.
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, that's like the similar armor to it. That's what made me think of it was when we saw that episode. Was that?
And then I'm going to be a Barbie at some point.
Yeah,
One of the many.
I am not getting up for a 10 a.m. fucking photo shoot, literally ever. Okay, and the Barbie photo shoot is at 10 a.m. on Friday of all days, and it's like, that's hilarious. That's fucking hilarious.
I think that's it for the big ones I'm going to. I am struggling. I don't think I think that's it for the really big ones, but I'm really excited for Has-Been Hotel, A Hell of a Boss, just to see what people come out with. Because like I was also in the Undertale fandom, which is another kind of similar costume vibe, and that was always amazing to see.
Oh yeah, what was the year you guys did Undertale? Because y'all's
It
costumes
was
were great,
it was a few years ago, but I mean like body paint is like I did
You say a few, and I'm pretty sure it
what's
was
her name?
at least 5.
yeah.
Oh my god.
I hate that I'm forgetting the names now, but I was in blue body paint, and my husband was in the robot character, the very effeminate robot, and it was great because he was walking in these heels, and he's just like, my feet are killing me. I'm like, yes, welcome to my world.
Wait, was that the only time that he wore heels?
Well, he did Ziggy Darkstar Dust that one year too.
And to be honest, it's been so long since I was super into Undertale that I can't remember either of the characters myself. So you're not alone.
Undyne, that's who I was.
Okay, Undyne. Okay. Wait, who is he then? Now I'm damn. Anyway,
everyone knows who I'm talking about when I say the effeminate robot.
Yes. All right, so I probably am not attending any group photo shoots because the only ones I want to go to are way too early in the morning or are scheduled in the midst of my like back-to-back panels. So
same.
It's fine. I'm okay with it. I mean, I think I'm even missing the Red Dead one this year. And no, that is not a drinking rule this year, Ashley. No Red Dead for me.
I was waiting for it. I'm just should I mention Red Dead? Is she going to it or
no, because I'm not doing any Red Dead stuff this year. That like because there's no, which is crazy because they just re-released Red Dead 1 for PS4 and 5 and Nintendo Switch actually, but they didn't do any they didn't remaster it or anything, and they're charging way too much money, so people are pissed about it. But like they just released it like on the 17th, I think. But yeah, there's not even a fan panel for Red Dead this year. So
have you played it on Switch yet?
No, I think this is the first time it's available for Switch. Okay. So like Red Dead 2 was PS4 and Xbox and then computer. And I don't even know that Red Dead 2 is available on Switch. And I don't know how you would play it on the Switch, honestly. But Red Dead 1 is way simpler because this is like a game from 2010. So, but I love Red Dead 1. But yeah, I mean, there just wasn't enough like new things going on. And they had a ton of Red Dead stuff last year because they actually had Red Dead guests. So yeah, anyway, the only shoot I would go to even as just like a visitor would be the Red Dead one would be the Red Dead photo shoot probably outside of the ones that I also wanted to go to that are like smack in the middle of all my panels. But the Red Dead photo shoot is also smack in the middle of my panels. So anyway, other activities. So DragonCon Swag and Seek. Is anybody bringing swag? I am.
I mean, I'm bringing ribbons. That's not really the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think the ribbons should
count.
I mean, it counts. It's not technically the Swag and Seek thing because you don't hide them. But if you hid them, I guess, or hide. I mean, if you left them around, I guess that's technically Swag and Seek. I am going to bring some. So I found these like mini pink cowboy hats on Amazon, and it's like $10 for a bunch of them. So I won't have a ton of them, but I was like, if I'm not doing Red Dead cosplay, and I actually had a Yellowstone Beth Dutton cosplay that I put together that is like 95% screen accurate, but the pants need to be hemmed, and I don't have time to do it or feel like finding somebody to do it. And also it just means having to bring heavy giant cowboy boots and a hat again. And like the cowboy hat, flying across country with a cowboy hat is the bane of my existence, because I either have to wear it or put it in a hat box in a carry-on, and it's like the only thing I can bring as my carry-on. So I am saving that for, I don't know, some other future thing, I guess. But I'm not mad about it, honestly, because I'm actually kind of relieved. I'm relieved that I don't have to bring all this crap. So, but yeah, I was planning a Yellowstone cosplay, but I also always do Red Dead stuff. So I was like, I'm not doing any Red Dead things this year. But then I was looking up, I don't know, party favors or something, and I saw these little tiny cowboy hats, and I was like, I'm bringing these to hand out to Barbies that I find, particularly Barbies who are doing the cowboy version. So that's my little swag and seek thing. Do any of you
are people putting, like, are they just leaving things around, or are they doing like little messages on them so that people know it's swag and seek, or are people just going to find a lot of random objects and not sure if they've stolen something or not?
So that's always like my thing about it, is that I feel like they encourage people to put like tags on them so that you know you're finding a swag and seek item, but not everybody does it, because there's definitely been times where I have seen a swag and seek thing and then like not picked it up because I wasn't sure, and then gotten a notification about, posted in the swag and seek group, and I'm like, oh wait, shit, that person posted about a thing that I saw. So I think it's encouraged, but not everybody does it. And also people will also, like, I know my friend Jenna, who was one of the guests on last year's Drinkin, she just carries the stuff around, and she'll leave stuff too, but she usually just hands things out. So there is a lot of that. So I don't know. I love the swag and seek stuff. I love the idea of it. I love how just the things you can find. And I didn't find much last year because I didn't have much time. But in 2021, I wasn't on as many panels. And of course, there also weren't as many people. And I found a crap ton of really awesome swag and seek stuff, like including like a bunch of Baby Yoda stuff, including some like little Lego things. Like one was like a little mini Baby Yoda inside of like a carrier that actually flips up and down. What? So yeah, people have some really awesome stuff. The magic carpet sticker that I never found last year, somebody posted about it again in the DragonCon subreddit, and it's a magic carp in Marriott carpet pattern, and I want it so bad. I want it so bad. But so, and I guess speaking of swag and seek, then let's just like piggyback on this with ribbons. Are any of you guys doing ribbons this year other than me?
I'm too introverted for any of that. I just let people hand them to me and I go.
So I went to FanFest this year, which is the Final Fantasy convention.
I wanted to go so bad. A friend of mine went, and she did the Athena cosplay.
Oh my goodness! If they were in the walk across, I saw them.
Yep, she was in the
That
walk
was amazing.
Across, and I was so jealous. I was like, oh my god, I wanted to go so bad.
But what I discovered was I made ribbons to bring there, and I'm like, oh, maybe I'll have some left over for DragonCon. And I realized I'm too shy to just walk up and give it to people. So I still have all my ribbons. But like, because like everyone at FanFest is there for Final Fantasy. So it's like, if I give one to this person, I need to give it to everybody. But at DragonCon, I can just give it to like the people who I can see cosplaying Final Fantasy characters. So it will be less awkward. That's my hope anyways, because I am socially awkward and can't walk up to people and give them ribbons.
Yeah, same.
Very relatable.
I'm highlighting Daniel's comment now that he's giving 2 ribbons for the first time. One for people he drinks drinks within a lobby, and one for fellow Fezians.
Oh, wearing a fez?
Yeah,
Like that?
I'm guessing he means Fez. He'll probably
A lot of
clarify.
doctors, I assume.
So I have 2 sets of ribbons. One is actually a Drinkin Con ribbon that I'm super excited about. So I'll if I see the 3 of you earlier in the weekend, I'll give you guys a few to hand out for sure. Yes, and it is people who wear Fez, by the way. So, and now I'm wondering, like, is it Fezians then? Fezian? I feel like it has to be Fezian. So I pronounced it right the first time. I'm proud of myself for that. But so yeah, we will have some Drinkin' Con ribbons. I will also have some other ribbons that are Dragon Con disaster movie ribbons, which are going to be limited to if somebody actually is cosplaying what I perceive as a Dragon Con disaster, aka like a Sheridan speaker fire or the Hilton flood, etc., etc. So yeah, if I see you out and about in a Dragon Con disaster cosplay and I have my ribbons on me, I will give you one of those, but otherwise they are reserved for private party reasons. And somebody says my cord is loose. What is it doing?
You're having a slight bit of static.
Hold on a second. I'm double checking. Don't mind me.
Don't mind Severo in the background.
Yeah.
There it goes.
I just
All
had
right,
a drink malfunction. I'll be right
Oh,
back.
pet
Nothing, and then-
interruption.
An umbrella did not work out.
Lumping by, and then I've got this guy now.
All right, is it still staticky?
No.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm going to grab another drink very quickly.
Okay. Well, while Ashley is fixing her drink malfunction and Marcy is grabbing another drink, there's other Dragon Con like unofficial activities that I'm not sure are happening. One of them is conquesting, which is you find the quest giver, get your quest, complete it, and get a prize. And the person who does the quest usually has a very obvious like quest sign or something. I think last year they actually had said that their sign broke, or their this is my quest giver thing. It was a 3D printed thing and it broke the previous year or in between that 2021 2022, and people like crowdfunded or like offered to make them one, but I haven't seen anything on the subreddit, which is where the conquesting thing usually comes up, about this happening again this year, so I don't know. There's also Dragon Con Bingo and a D100 list, which I haven't heard anything about. So at this point, all I know about is get yourself some ribbons and swag and seek. So there's that. Now, just to get this other stuff out of the way before we get into our personal things, avoiding con crud. Get your vaccinations, get your flu shots, get boosted for other vaccinations. I'm not going to name the thing, but you know what I'm talking about. If you can get a flu shot ASAP, go ahead and do that now. Start taking...
The convention I was just at, it was a super spreader. Like half the people I've heard who attended have come down with it. I was fortunate, but I was feeling under the weather when I came back. So I don't know if that was my booster working its job or if I just got lucky.
I will say this, out of every single Dragon Con I've gone to, everyone talks about the con crud, and it is completely foreign to me. Like, I have no idea what they're talking about.
You better knock on some wood.
Better knock on some wood right now. Yeah. No, I know it'll
knock
happen.
on your head if you have to, but
I will.
Yeah, I know that it'll happen, but I'm just saying because, you know, like, the way everybody would talk about it back then is like, oh, and I always expected it. I'm like, well, okay, I'm going to get it. And I just never got it. So maybe I go this time, I get something, and then it just kills me. I don't know. You know?
No, don't say that.
You know?
Yeah, we had a bunch of friends get COVID after Dragon Con last year. So yes. I didn't listen, I didn't want to name names.
Well, what shocks me is that like I was the only one in our room that got it. I'm sure Keith, my husband, got it from me because he caught it like a week later. So somehow Tara and Nami lucked out.
I think that the reason I didn't get it was because I had gotten COVID from my step kid who got it at school earlier in the year. So I think I still had those like immunities or whatever. But you and Keith both got it. Nami and I, the other roommates, didn't get it. And Rachel and Josh, our next door neighbors, who we spend 90% of our time with, both got. Well, I know Rachel did. I think Josh maybe didn't. So I think Rachel did, but Josh didn't, which is weird because they're married. But yeah,
Keith got it like a week after me, so he most likely got it from me, but not from Dragon Con, I would assume.
Yeah, I've actually, like, knock on wood, never gotten con crud specifically. I've gotten sick after conventions, but it's always been it's always been a change of weather thing, because I was like living in Florida and driving from Florida to South Carolina and then from South Carolina to Virginia or whatever. So we'll see. But yeah, so to avoid con crud, get your vaccination boosters, get your flu shots, start taking vitamin C and or multivitamins now.
Bring hand sanitizer everywhere you go.
Yes, hand sanitizer, but also bring antibacterial liquid hand soap for your room. Okay?
Like, too.
I don't care. It doesn't matter what brand. Just make sure you bring a push button antibacterial soap for your room if you're staying at a hotel. Bring hand wipes and also wipes to clean off like counters. I have these little alcohol wipes that I use to wipe off my phone, and I do that usually when I'm at conventions. I'll do that at least once a day, just to, not that I'm letting other people touch my phone, but also God only knows what germs. So these little alcohol wipes to wipe off your phone. A small bottle of dish soap, I don't want to call it travel size because they don't advertise it as that, but like a tiny bottle of dish soap. If you can't fly with it, then when you get to Atlanta, go somewhere and CVS or order yourself some groceries, whatever, from a nearby place, and get a small bottle of dish soap if you're planning on using like reusable drink containers. Like I mean, I'm sitting here with this water bottle. I usually bring some themed drink containers with me to Dragon Con. So if you could bring a small bottle of dish soap or buy one, so that you can wash them out throughout the weekend. I usually try to wash mine out at least twice a day, depending on how often I'm using them or where I'm bringing them. If you are going to wear a mask, utilize the disposable ones, or if you need to use or want to use cloth ones, make sure to bring detergent sheets or something similar and wash them throughout the weekend. I know that's a little bit probably going to be less prevalent this year, and that, I mean, also that's kind of like, oh, there's not going to be as many masks, so be as careful as you can, y'all. Okay.
I mean, there weren't masks last year. They said they were a mask. There weren't.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier.
Yeah,
we talked about that earlier, and there was no mask mandate in Atlanta, so they couldn't make anybody wear them in public places, like public areas. And I don't know about you, Ashley, because you weren't here when we talked about it, but if you went to any panels, the only panels I was on or went to where they were very strict about it was the high fantasy track. So
I remember panels saying that you had to wear masks. I don't remember, paying attention to see if people were or were not wearing them. I always had a mask on me, but I wasn't wearing it unless I was going into a panel.
So
I didn't go to any dance parties last year. Were people wearing them at dance parties at all? No.
I didn't either. Or no. Okay, that's a lie. I went to one. I went to the Sunday night rave as per the usual at like 4 in the morning. And
we were trying to sleep. I remember that.
Oh, I know, because in my booze backpack, and I never set it down. I never tipped it over. I never dropped it, and my key was just gone. I think somebody was trying to steal shit from me, and they just got a Hyatt room key. Like,
Okay.
Because like it was on my back. It wasn't like I was popping locking it on the dance floor at the fucking rave. I put it. So I actually have a booze backpack here. This is the old booze backpack. I don't have a red one that I bring to DragonCon anymore, but there's these side pockets, right? And they have little, things that you can kind of close them a little bit, but they're open. And I'm doing this. Oh, look, there's a photo pass from years ago at DragonCon. This is from Ice and Fire Con. Oh wait, I have more things. These are also from DragonCon. These are rupees from our 20.
Oh my goodness, that is a long time ago.
2018 party. But yeah, so they have these side pockets, and I put the key in the side pocket, and I didn't, like I said, I didn't set the bag down. I didn't like bend over where something would fall out. So I think somebody reached into the side pocket and took my key out. But anyway, so yeah, poor Ashley and her husband Keith had to let me back into the room.
Driving home Monday, by the way.
Yeah, because I didn't have. Well, to be fair, as soon as I realized that room key, like I had reached into the bag for something else, and I was like, wait a minute, where's my room key? And then I reached into the other pocket, no room key. So I definitely I left the rave way earlier than I wanted or expected to, because I was like, I don't have an ID on me. I can't even go to the front desk and get a key. I gotta go knock on my fucking door and wake up my poor roommates at like 4:30 in the morning or something. I will forever be sorry about that.
And
but yes,
because I wasn't the driver.
Moral of the story: this year, if I go to a rave, my room key is going to be tucked into my bra, where I will not lose it. But anyway, so what to bring for your room? Bring your own food, snacks. And this is more like for DragonCon newbies, like people who haven't been in a long time. The restaurants situation there, first of all, there's a lot of restaurants that have closed since the but and even while crowds at the convention are still supposed to be thinner than they were in like 2019, which still is like, what does that mean though? I think somebody in the chat said 65,000 was like a number, and now I'm forgetting what they meant with that, but there's not as many restaurants downtown. Crowds at the con might be thinner, but I can't stress enough that you should make sure to have at the very least some decent hearty snacks in your room, like protein bars.
I'm a big fan of granola bars just because nuts are great if you can eat them.
Yep. Yeah, nuts, apples. I love apples because apples are also a natural stimulant.
And they won't go bad.
Energy
They can last a week.
And a cup of coffee.
I'm sorry, what was that, Marcy?
If you eat an apple in the morning, it'll give you more energy than a cup of coffee. I'm not giving up coffee, but
exactly,
it's just like an actual fact.
So there's a lot of snacks you can bring, and also do your shopping at home if you can. Like if you're driving in for groceries, alcohol, etc. If not, do it as early as possible at DragonCon Wednesday if you can, Thursday morning or early afternoon if you can't do it Wednesday. Other things to bring for your room: solo or other disposable cups, trash bags.
You want to mention alcohol? They tend to change the prices on things when you get into the city on DragonCon week. So keep that in mind if you're trying to save money to maybe pick that up before you get there.
I learned that lesson in 2013. I literally, out of 3 or 4 days, I think I spent over $600 just in drinks. I had no idea what I was doing. Like the next time I went, oh yeah, I was stocked up and I only spent like $100. But yeah, I had no idea what I was doing. And then, when Manny gets roasted, that's when it's like, that's when I make it rain, you know? Like, I don't care about the bank account. I'm like, oh no, we're all getting drinks. Even you, janitor person, I don't know. Come on, you know? And
So
forget about it.
you're saying find you in the lobby on Friday night.
Find me in the lobby on Friday night, and I'll just be like, oh no, girl, we're getting all of the drinks right now. I want one of each, you know?
I always this is such a lifesaver for me. I always mix a bunch of peanut butter and jelly in Tupperware, make like 10 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, throw them in reusable Ziploc bags, throw them in my book bag, and just like as I'm walking from one panel to the next, I'm munching down on peanut butter and jelly. Lifesaver. I've been doing it for years, and it's great.
Here's my thought on that.
Mm-hmm.
Bring peanut butter and jelly mixed together or separate somehow, whatever, and bring bread and like a plastic knife or even like a cheap knife you don't care about from home. Because my problem with peanut butter and jelly is that the jelly just soaks through the bread like so fast and it makes it so nasty.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
But I agree with you. Like the very like simple foods that you wouldn't think to eat are the most like filling and best. Other things to bring for your room: Solo or other disposable cups. I think I already started on this, but Solo or other disposable cups, trash bags. Bring your own trash bags, please.
The trash bags one is big.
Yeah.
You don't like it is such a relief when you can just get rid of all that crap that's going to be in your room. Like it builds up. Those garbages are not big enough for a 4-person's staying in a single place and you don't want the people coming in because if you're a cosplayer especially, everything explodes when you unpack your bag.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want it's a disaster. Just trash bags are great because you fill it up, you just put it outside your hotel door, they'll pick it up, no problem, won't say anything, they won't shame you for being like, this is unusual, why do you have an entire trash bag of stuff on the first night? They love it. They love it when you put the trash bag out there because they're like, okay, we don't have to clean your room, but you're cleaning up yourself, good to go. I'm a big proponent of trash bags.
I think I'm really lucky when it comes to like the food thing, you know, because like one thing about me is that I never go out to eat. Like I don't like to go out to eat. You know, like I just don't. I don't care about it. I don't like if it was up to me, I would plug myself into a wall and just recharge and just keep going. Like I've just been lucky to where I'm not a foodie, you know. I'm a drinker. That's it. You know, so it's like, you know, so we did like the same thing where the last time we went, we had a Keurig that we brought just so, you know, they could coffee and tea and stuff like that. And then we just brought things that you can pop in a microwave, you know. And every like maybe 4 or 5 hours, I'd go back up to the room, have something, and then go right back out again, you know. And it's like, so yeah, I think bringing things like that, like we had like dumb stuff, like we had like the cup of noodles stuff, and then we had like the macaroni and cheese stuff that you make, and we had like some basic sandwich stuff to make, and you know, get a little fridge and put that in there. But I think the only thing is when I get drunk, I get those like weird $5 burgers that are in the lobby, you know. That's like the only thing that I think I'll be like, oh yeah, I want a nasty, you know, cafeteria style food, like when I was in school burger. Like that's what I want, you know.
If you've been drinking, you don't care, you know.
You know, you don't care, man. Exactly.
Well, yeah, food is more a necessity than something you want to eat at Dragon Con. I feel like I never want to eat. I just do it because I know I have to.
Yeah,
Right.
like I don't want alcohol poisoning. I have to eat something now, you know.
I always end up at that. I can't ever remember the name of it. That Irish pub place around the corner, and I just
I know what you're talking about.
every time. I just grab a grilled cheese and go. It really is an inconvenience to eat. Like I have to do it. Now
That's exactly it. It's an inconvenience to have to eat.
yes.
Yeah. But at least you got like the right mindset, you know. It's just like, all right, guys, look, grilled cheese, real quick. We're gonna stuff this down, and we're gonna keep going. Like, let's go, you know.
Right. Keep it on. But then I'll stand in line for 45 minutes for a Starbucks. You need coffee at Dragon Con, okay? Like that's tip number 1 for me. Need it. Gotta have it.
Yeah, some rooms don't have coffee makers. Definitely try to find out that ahead of time because they double as cup noodle makers, which is great for 4 a.m. raves.
That's what we did. Yeah, 4 a.m. raves. You get them noodles on, man, all the time, and they're like 25 cents a thing, you know, like, and I get a whole case of them, and I'm like, dude, whatever, like, you know, I love it.
Does that count as a pet interruption by chance?
It's a pet interruption.
Okay, so just FYI, Tara's having some technical difficulties, and she will be right back.
She'll be right back.
Let's see. Do you guys, how do you guys feel about like Thursday afternoon and Monday morning? Are you there Thursday afternoon and Monday morning?
I drive
morning,
from
yeah.
Chicago, so we come in on Wednesday because Thursday is now Friday, and you want to be there for it and not driving during it.
I feel like
but we do drive Monday.
Whenever I have a panel to do on a Monday, like on a Monday morning or anytime Monday, like I'll go just to do my panel and then I go home. Like by Monday, I am done. Like I have a great time. I love Drinkin. It's my event of the year. But by the time I've gotten through Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I just show up to whatever panels I'm on, and that's it. Like I'm so done at that point. I am drained.
Same thing
And I
with me.
sleep like a week.
Yeah, I do the
I
Monday
get my
morning
spiritual
thing.
fulfillment for the month, you know?
Yep.
I do the Monday morning thing, and then I'm just like, I'm gone, guys. And people like still hang out and they're doing stuff, and I'm like, no, bye. I gotta
Right.
go.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
We
Oh,
are
thank
good.
God.
We are good.
I don't.
Okay.
I have no idea what happened. I think my connection got loose, and then it was like, "Do you still want this to be your connected sound?" And I was like, "Yes," and it just didn't listen. Good for you, StreamYard. Love you so much. Cool.
In the meantime, we were talking about whether or not, or we were talking about how we feel about Mondays. And I was saying I just do my scheduled panels, and that's it. Like by Monday, I'm done.
So in 2018 and 2019, my Mondays were I can't remember. I know in 2019 I had a panel. Probably in 2018 I did too. Last year I was supposed to, and it got canceled last minute because the guests. I was actually supposed to moderate a guest panel for Fear the Walking Dead, and the guests couldn't be there that day, so it got canceled. And that was like the best thing that happened to me because all I wanted to do was go back home.
Yes.
But and that's kind of where I'm at for this year too. I had a blast at the give away all your alcohol parties in 2018 and 2019. I really did. But I've reached that age where I'm just like, I have to work on Tuesday no matter what. So I just want to go home on Monday, so that when I have to get up for work on Tuesday, like I'm maybe not fresh and, all there, but I'm definitely not like struggling awake from like the giveaway or alcohol party on Monday night. And trying to do like an on-camera meeting. So just struggling through it. Like, can I stay awake for this? I don't know. So yeah, I totally love the whole like we're gonna make it last through Monday night thing. I'm just personally physically not here for it anymore. Even if I have to be physically available, like even if because this year right now I'm struggling to find a ride home on Monday. I have a ride to DragonCon from Atlanta, but I do from South Carolina to Atlanta, but I do not have a ride home yet from Atlanta to South Carolina on Monday. I have one on Tuesday if I need it, but I'm just like, yeah, I got to work on Tuesday. Like,
we'll talk after this. I can probably get you at least halfway. If someone else.
That might help. Okay. Yeah, I had somebody who could bring me, but it was a family member, and I'm not gonna edit that out. It's Saturday. I don't wanna think about it. Anyway, so we went through what to bring for your room in terms of general stuff. Also, just the annual reminder: bring cash to tip your housekeepers. Don't be
Please,
assholes.
please, yes.
And like, if you have
Valet, everyone.
yeah, if you have roommates, please do not expect your roommates to like cover things. Like, I think last year what I did was at the beginning of the week, I was like, everybody in this room, give me $20. And that way we know for a fact that this housekeeper is getting $80 at the end of the weekend. And we do not allow housekeeping in our room usually throughout the entire week. And we also are very good about cleaning up after ourselves, like before we leave. But regardless, bring cash to tip people, please. So we have a question for Marcy. Patrick is asking what panels Marcy does. Don't worry, Patrick. We'll get into that in just a few minutes. Parking. As usual, host hotels are valet only, and prices have skyrocketed since 2019. Last year, the Hyatt was $50 a day. And I should know because I paid it, and also had to talk to them about the fact that my room was booked through Tuesday, but I left on Monday. And I was like, hey, you guys charged me for Tuesday. Like, even though I checked out on Monday, guys. Cool.
Yeah, I think because we were also in your room that we also had to deal with that as well. I remember. Yeah. So if you're booked for a certain amount of time, but some people in your room are not staying the whole time, make sure that you address it and bring it up with the hotel, because they'll probably just make assumptions and charge you anyway.
Yeah, they charged me and they refunded it within like a day. Like they were super cool about it. It wasn't like problematic. It was just I think it was like an automatic like, but your room, you know. There are several nearby parking garages that will be somewhat cheaper. To be honest, they vary in price and they change every year, so I can't tell you what one's best. There is Spot Hero, which I do not suggest. Don't use Spot Hero. Just don't. Please don't ever. I'm not going to go into my entire Spot Hero story, but if you have a question about it, you can always DM me on one of my public accounts, like my Facebook page, Twitter, or Instagram. At a Geek Saga. It's a long story. I'm not getting into it. Don't use Spot Hero. You can also park at a MARTA station and take MARTA in if you're not bringing a bunch of stuff and don't mind carrying things yourselves, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Now,
do beware. I have heard stories about people's cars being broken into. So keep that in mind. Do not put any valuables in your car. And if you have an expensive looking car, I probably would not park anywhere.
Now, DragonCon 2023 personal highlights. Finally, somebody else want to go first? Personal highlights. Like what are you looking forward to this year? What panels are you? We already talked about photo shoots, but like if you're on panels, what panels are you doing? I don't know.
The schedule's not out yet, though, right? Am I correct? Did I miss that? No. So I don't know.
It is not.
I have the most boringest answer for this, but it's probably the most heartwarming answer. Okay? I'm not interested in any panels or anything. If I go to one, that's fantastic. Bro, I just want to connect with people. I just want to get out of my house. I want to talk to people. I want to hang out. Like, that is the only thing. Because I work from home. Okay? So I'm literally isolated. I'm by myself all the time. So I'm like, look, dude, I would much rather just go hang out and talk to people than to sit down and then just not say anything, you know, and just watch something. Like, I have zero interest in any of that stuff. Now, obviously, Manny gets drunk and then go, okay, yeah, no, I want to go check out this panel because I'm roasted right now. But, you know, like, for the most part, dude.
Some high fantasy? Let's go.
Let's go. Let's do it, you know. But no, honestly, I'm looking forward to just, you know, meeting some of you guys. I'm really interested in hanging out with, like, Tara again because we haven't hung out since, I don't know when it was, 2019, I guess, you know. Like, it's been a long-ass time, so it's like,
yeah,
dude, I just want to connect, man. And, like, I just want to hang out with people. That's it. That's the only thing I'm looking forward to.
No, yeah, I feel you. I'm granted, I have been to a couple events this summer, so I have had I'm an extrovert, but I also have that thing where I get like overwhelmed, and I did SDCC and then the very next weekend Tombstone Redemption. So I was like, oh, I just want to be home and like do nothing but be with my pets for a weekend or 6, which I don't. 6 is a bit long. I don't have that, but yeah, I'm with you. I just want to see people and chill. Unfortunately I don't have that. I don't have that luxury. But Marcy, are you on any panels this year?
I'm not sure if I've gotten my full panel schedule. Like, I know they put me on the Barbie panel, and I'm like, oh, I guess I gotta go see the Barbie movie. I haven't seen it.
Oh my God, how have you not seen it?
I know. I want to go see it. At first, I thought it was going to be like kind of like a corny little silly like satire comedy, but I've heard that it's actually quite philosophical, if you will.
Yes, it's one of the smartest movies I've seen in a long fucking time.
I'm looking forward to it now that I know that, because I thought it was just some silly like whatever, but then I was told I was on the panel and I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to go see it, I guess. But I've heard good things, so now I'm excited to see it. I know I'm doing a Wakanda panel. I know I'm doing a handful of Star Wars panels, but I haven't heard back from High Fantasy, and normally I have like a minimum of 5 panels with that track. So I'm not sure what exactly I'm doing this year, but if I'm not running panel to panel to panel all day, every day, I will not be upset. You know, I'm okay with that.
I feel you.
I feel like that's what DragonCon is. It's like, I'm just going to do panels, you know, and I'm not complaining because I very much enjoy having conversations about things that intellectually stimulate me. But I think I would like to be able to like cop a buzz and just go hang out. And, you know, I love the Hilton Courtyard. That's my spot. You know, and just like relax and chill. So I think this year, if I'm not like chock full of panels, then I'm not going to be upset about it at all. But the Barbie panel, yeah, I think that one's going to be packed.
When is that?
I want to say Friday, it's either midday Friday or midday Saturday. I can't remember.
Is it in the American? What track is it with?
I think it's. Let me check. But for some reason, I think it was in the sci-fi.
I want to say it. My guess would be it's in the American Sci-Fi Fantasy Media. Which I saw that they were looking for a bunch of panelists for stuff, but it was all, well, not all. It was mostly either shit I hadn't heard of, shit I didn't care about, or DC stuff, which like DC Universe stuff, which was like, oh God, I feel so bad for that track for having all this like DC stuff that they have to fill in. Nobody
I've been a comic book nerd since I could read, and DC I'm just like, I'm done. Like, I'm done.
No, the movies, yeah,
yes, exactly. Yeah, so Barbie is Saturday at 2:30, and it's the American Sci-Fi Fantasy Media track.
Oh, okay. So sadly, I probably won't be able to make it to that one. My schedule is insane. I am on, oh God. So I got my schedule like weeks ago because I'm an attending pro. Sorry guys, drink. Also, hold on, because now I need to open up the White Claws.
Welcome to the party. You made it.
Well, yeah, I made it to
that phase,
the Fight Claw party. So my panels are Friday. Please adapt this, which is with the high fantasy track. So if anybody has a suggestion, oh God, Daniel says the law is gone now. Yes, it is. It really is. If anybody has suggestions for fantasy series that they would like to see adapted, please hit me up, like DM me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. I definitely have some that I'm interested in bringing up, but I feel like I'm kind of behind on what would be considered high fantasy, because a lot of the series I've read in recent years are, I don't know. I'm still really confused about the distinction between high fantasy and general fantasy lit, and also young adult lit, because I feel like the high fantasy track should have all Grishaverse stuff, but they only have the Shadow and Bone TV show. But hey, whatever, that's fine. So anyway, 1 p.m. on Friday, please adapt this about fantasy novel /
Can that
series.
video games?
I guess if it could be considered fantasy or high fantasy, probably. Are you going to mention the thing?
I don't know.
Just say it. Say it.
I feel like some of the Final Fantasy series should be adapted properly. No, not badly, but well.
I can think of plenty of things that shouldn't be, made into an adaptation, but.
At 2:30 p.m. Friday, Tress of the Emerald Sea. For anybody, I think like you didn't have to back Brandon Sanderson's Kickstarter to get that book now. Like it's been publicly available for a while, but I fucking loved Tress of the Emerald Sea so much. I really did. And I think I've seen either you and I went back and forth a little bit about some of because there's 3 of the Kickstarter novels out now, right? The first one was Tress. The second one was
Handbook.
The something handbook of something that I fucking hated, honestly.
I couldn't finish it. I was like, I kept trying and I was just done.
I finished it because I felt I had to, but I hated it.
Fair.
Well, okay, hate is a very strong word. I did not like it and I would never read it again.
Okay, I hated it.
The third one was Yumi and the Nightmare Painter, which I really, really liked, but I felt was a little bit of a cop-out. But anyway, so Tress of the Emerald Sea, I really, really love. So that's my Friday 2:30 panel. And then at 4 p.m., I'm doing a panel with the Apocalypse Rising track in the West End, which is End of Days, the loner versus the community. So it's basically going to be a discussion of like, why do you feel some post-apocalyptic stories are focused on the loner versus some are focused on the community? What do you, all that stuff.
Be a fun panel. I love that.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it because like I actually do have from 6.5 years ago now, I published a zombie apocalypse novel, and it's very much about a person who would have been a loner, but who like was forced to become a part of a community. So I'm excited about that one. Saturday, 11:30 a.m. Shadow and Bone season 2 recap.
Nice.
So
I'm sorry. What track did you? High Fantasy is doing that one.
Yeah. High Fantasy does the show only, and the Grishaverse books
are under young adult or under. So they'd be at the Sheridan.
I think no. Young adult is Young adult is also, I believe, at the Marriott, but it's like it's like down in the like lower base. Like I think it's either near American Sci-Fi Fantasy Media, or it might be even like the floor below that. It's been a long time since I've been to a young adult lit panel.
And I'm sorry, since you mentioned adaptations, my mind has just been like starting like, oh wait a minute, what about this? What about this? What about this? Like, do I just send you a list of books that I really like that I want to see live action?
Fantasy,
I can do that
as long as they're fantasy. Yeah.
I definitely have a list for you.
Because I'm starting to
And then 1 p.m. on Saturday, The Princess and the Queen, exploring Rhaenyra and Alicent. And I think this is House of the Dragon. Sorry, drink.
No need to apologize.
But
I'd probably go to this one.
But this seems to be show focused because the description of the panel is more focused on their show relationship, which is way more interactive than the
books are. Yeah, it is a very different story.
Oh, it's a hugely different story in Fire and Blood. So pretty excited about that. Also, Nami, who is supposed to be one of our hosts for this evening, who got sick, she is on that as well. 4 p.m. Saturday, I have The Madness of the King, depictions of mental health in high fantasy, which I'm kind of scared about because it's one of those things, it's one of those panels where like I feel like I have a lot to say, but I also am not a doctor.
I'd
Like,
be worried
I
that people would bring up a lot of obscure books that you've probably not read.
yeah.
Because if it's not focused on specific books, then is it just open to anything?
I mean, I could get into some Madness of the King shit with Lord of the Rings and obviously Game of Thrones, or well, Game of Thrones, Song of Ice and Fire, both, right? But yeah, so it's kind of like the religion and high fantasy one that I did in I think 2019, where sorry guys, hold on. My microphone is, can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, my microphone was like tipping, like it was just like going down. So in 2019 I did a religion and high fantasy one where I was the only person on the panel who was an agnostic.
Yeah. That would be me.
That's fun.
Everybody else was Catholic, I think. And I like one of my friends, actually one of our Ice and FireCon friends came to it, and he after the fact was like, thank you so much. Like I really just felt like you spoke to the things that I think and believe and how they're like how they can be portrayed in fantasy, whatever, et cetera, et cetera. And I was over here just like, I felt like an idiot the whole fucking time because I spoke very little. And when I did, it was like, I don't like religion.
Yeah. Yeah.
You need that perspective on a panel like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like any kind of mental health discussion on the high fantasy track had to be inspired by Stormlight Archive. So now I'm going to go harass Jen.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that too. Absolutely. Like, absolutely. I mean, yes. Stormlight Archive. For anybody who's listening, if you haven't read Stormlight Archive, you don't know what we're talking about, but it's legit. But yeah, the other thing is the last mental health panel that I took place or that I took part in was a mental health, like a post-apocalypse panel with Apocalypse Rising track. And listen, this was not the Apocalypse Rising track's fault. But there were people in the audience that were just
trying to.
Were you Ashley? Were you at that?
I remember about it. I think I might have been. I went in at the end because I came in partway through because I wanted to watch your panel. Yeah, and it was like really bad. I don't believe we will have that problem with the high fantasy track panels, but wow, and again, it is not the Apocalypse Rising track's fault. It was just like rando. It was randos in like Spirit Halloween or like HalloweenCostumes.com costumes that like came in off the street and were just shouting like anti everything comments throughout the panel. So again, not the track's fault and not the other panelists' fault, etc. It was difficult, and I'm just really hoping it won't be another one of those. Anyway, at 10 p.m. on Saturday night, we're doing The Worst Person in Westeros.
Ooh, that's gonna be good.
So I think it's gonna be.
I will be there.
Yes,
it's gonna be a very long panel.
Yeah.
So my suggestion, if you want to go to it, is, and you're not on the panel, is to get in line at least like a half an hour early, because I think it's going to be like our Looney Theories panels, which are always super fucking hilarious. And I actually need to talk to Jen, who's the head of the high fantasy track. Oh, pet interruption. Drink. I see a cat.
My 13-year-old's the love of my life.
Oh, I got a 14-and-a-half-year-old. I feel you. but yeah, Jen, who's the director of the High Fantasy Track, I want to talk to her because I really want to do, if we can't have a whiteboard in that room, I want to try to do, like, I will bring my computer and have like an actual
Show.
a brackets situation.
Ooh, yeah.
So that's my goal for this. But like, I want to bring back the loony Game of Thrones theories hilarity that we used to have, because if you've never been to or listened to the loony Game of Thrones panels, please check out my blog or my website / you can find it on Spotify or wherever you have podcasts. I can't promise the audio is amazing, but the loony Game of Thrones theories panels from DragonCon 2017, 2018, and 2019 are the best and most fun DragonCon panels I've ever participated in. And now a lot of those theories are kind of like debunked, I guess, but it doesn't make the panels less.
Are they?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, true. Yeah, but are they? It doesn't make the panels any less hilarious. And then last but not least, Sunday at 4 p.m., House of the Dragon Season 1. Drink, sorry, but also this is in a ballroom.
By the way.
Oh, yay.
On
This
theme.
is in a ballroom. We have apparently the House of the Dragon Season 1 panel is taking place in the Hilton Crystal Ballroom.
Oh, all right.
Wait, do we have actors?
No.
No.
It's just
okay.
I think with the strike and everything, they probably have more rooms available, but also there was a Game of Thrones panel. One of the Game of Thrones season panels was in a ballroom as well, and I wasn't on it because I had another thing scheduled at that time. So, and that was, I mean, this was years ago, like 2015, 2016, maybe. It was probably 2016, but yeah, so I'm on another ballroom panel. Yay.
I guess these panels I should probably skip because I know people are going to make comparisons to the, to the book and stuff, and probably stuff that I'm unfamiliar with. So this is the part where I feel like I'm going to kind of miss out, because when I kind of look back, I'm like, you know what? They're going to compare to what the books say. They're going to compare, like it's season 1, and maybe they're going to give something away that I don't know about. So unfortunately, I have to keep myself purified in the waters of ignorance and not see it.
I have to throw this out there. I think everyone can agree that Tara's like the Game of Thrones person, or Ice and Fire. She's that person. So imagine my surprise when I'm sitting on stage waiting for a panel to start, a Game of Thrones panel, and she walks in and sits down next to me, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm not going to say anything. There's nothing I can add that's going to be any more valuable than what she can add. And I'm pretty sure I didn't say anything that whole panel. And normally I'm like constantly talking, but it was a Jon Snow panel. I can't remember. It was like I think we were kind of debating whether or not Jon Snow was great or not.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, I'm just going to let her handle this.
I really enjoyed doing, like when we did like the podcast and stuff, it was really great because I really did enjoy the fact that I was completely ignorant to anything in the books. And I really love the fact that the entire community did not spoil anything for me about anything whatsoever. So I had like zero idea. After the Game of Thrones show ended is when I started asking people who read the books, like, hey, so what actually did happen to this guy? And they'd be like, oh, okay, but they never ruined it for me. They never said anything. And even when they knew something big was coming up in the show, straight face, didn't say anything. They already knew what was going to happen.
Right.
I didn't know. But like with House of the Dragon, I love House of the Dragon like 100 times more than Game of Thrones. So this is one of those things where I'm like, this is one of those things where I'm like, okay, look, I don't want to know anything about it. Like the other one I didn't really care about. But now I'm like, okay, now I really want to I want to just go in blind when they do like season 2 and all this stuff. I don't want to know anything about it,
I feel like this is going to be more, people will be more apt to spoil it too, because it's not quite as much of a linear story. It's like oh, well, it's just a history. So people will be more like, oh, well, this and this happened. So I understand that. I think that that's
what I'm worried about.
More likely that people will
stay away. Yeah.
I'm actually finding the link for the panel you and I were on, Marcy, because I feel like you talked a good bit on it, and I don't ever want to be that person that makes somebody feel.
No, I was just like, she knows what she's talking about, so there's nothing that I can say that's going to be more, beneficial than what she's saying. But I think I did.
No, you did, and I literally don't ever want to be that person that makes somebody feel like they can't.
It was a good intimidation. It was a good thing. It was just, it's kind of like, go ahead and grab your drinks. It's kind of like a Red Rising panel. Like, I feel like I would have so much to say that I would like railroad someone else, but you didn't do that. You like carried the panel beautifully, but I just was like, this is the Game of Thrones authority here. I need to just sit here and listen.
I mean, I am way less the Game of Thrones authority than like the people that actually fucking talk about it 24/7. But well, I guess I say that because it's kind of the case. It doesn't mean I know less. It just means I am not I'm not out there as much, you know. Right. The House of the Dragon podcast that Manny and I did was the first time I had ever really done anything other than post a recording of a panel I'd been on. So, but yeah, no, I mean, and that Jon Snow panel was good. But I feel like, I don't know. I feel like it could have been funnier, honestly.
For some reason, like I love Jon Snow, but he's just easy to clown on. He just is. Like,
Jon Snow is a person
really
that
is.
exists. He's a person that exists and is somehow getting his entire own show. I can't.
Yep.
Wait, that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes, that's been happening.
I thought it was fake. I saw the poster to it and I was like, that's fake.
I thought they were talking about it, but it didn't get anywhere beyond talking about it.
No.
I want to say, and I don't quote me on this, but I want to say Kit Harington had it kind of like got not necessarily put on hold, but maybe slightly delayed due to some personal stuff. But I know like it is happening as far as I know. Tara probably is.
So they're just making shit up because
Patrick says Jon Snow's my baby, don't bully. Okay, let's not let this turn into a Game of Thrones.
Yeah, because
this is a Dragon Con podcast. Okay. Cosplay at Dragon Con. We're gonna go. We're doing two things here. What do you think will be popular this year, and what are you cosplaying, if anything? What do you think will be popular this year? All I have to say is Barbie.
Yeah.
But also, come on, there's got to be other stuff, right?
Is there?
I think there will be a lot of Elvis, which I'm quite pleased about. I think there'll be a lot of Elvis. Elvis and Barbie. Like that's what I anticipate seeing the most of.
I think House of the Dragon too, because this is the first,
yeah.
Like this is the first Dragon Con where the show has actually been like had a full season. I'm sorry, also House of the Dragon, drink.
Wheel of Time.
Listen, I also was like, I almost put Barbie as a thing that we had to drink about, but then I was like, oh god, no, that's life ending.
That's alcohol poisoning. Also, Wheel of Time. I think after, even though, look, I don't want to be cynical about the show because I'm happy to have Wheel of Time content, but I am just so much more a fan of the books. But now that there's been a season and the second season is starting during this con, I think there will be quite a few Wheel of Time cosplays, which I'm all the way here for.
We're gonna do some thoughts on Wednesday Addams. Also, I just have to highlight Patrick's comment about there are gonna be hot Kens everywhere. I have mixed feelings about the Ken thing that are more personal than I should mention on this podcast. But if anybody has questions about my Ken feelings, they can message me.
Yeah, let me say like Red Rising and special needs, animal adoption. Take a drink. Tell us about it.
No, I only have this much left.
Well, I wish that there would be Red Rising cosplay, honestly. But I think it's too much. It's just books now. I've done a Red Rising cosplay, but
who did you do? Victra?
I just did. I
General,
guess you could call it Mustang.
okay, fair.
I'll send you pictures after this, but
Please, yeah.
yeah, until Red Rising is a show, I think
I do have to say, things that you don't expect might be popular. My husband and I did Eurydice and Orpheus last year from Hadestown, and that was my most recognized costume, or at least the one that most people came up to me and been like, "I love your costume."
Nice.
So, I mean, it surprised me. So that's not a IP, that's a movie or a television show.
yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be a movie or a television show. Like there's always going to be random popular things at Dragon Con. I mean, Barbie, I think, is just going to be the most
that's going to be everywhere.
Stupidly prevalent.
Yeah.
Like a costume that I wore last year, I have accessories that are going to make it Barbie. And then I also have just a general like Barbie-ish outfit that I'm going to wear. And this is literally just like, this is a comfortable thing I own that is Barbie-ish, and I have blondish hair. So, you know.
I know. I really thought about like showing up with a tattoo cunt and being like tattoo Barbie. You know, I really thought about it, but I just.
Oh my god, wasn't there a tattoo Barbie? Like a literal
I'm pretty sure
tattoo
like that you put water on and you wipe
Yeah.
it and it would show up. Yeah.
Shit, it's not too late. It's not too late. I still got just shy of 2 weeks. I could still pull it off.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe I'll give it. I think the last I used to do She-Hulk all the time, but this was like years ago. Long before the show was like a thing. But I used to do She-Hulk cosplay a lot. Like that was my go-to. So maybe tattoo Barbie should be my new go-to.
I love a She-Hulk cosplay. I loved the show. I know people.
She was my hero when I was a little girl. Like that was I was She-Hulk. Okay, I was She-Hulk. I got really lucky because my dad is from the Netherlands and he watched Star Wars and read Hulk comics to like teach himself English. So like I grew up on all that stuff. So I lucked out. I was gonna say I was born into being a nerd, but I refuse to use the term born into being an intellectual badass. Okay? That's what I was born into.
Nah. You can say born into being a nerd because that's the thing. Like it used to be like a thing you didn't want to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now it is a thing that if you're not, people still kind of aspire to be.
Oh, my sister's like, oh, my only type is a nerdy guy. I just like nerds. And I'm like, well, what do you like that's nerdy? You know? And she's like, well, nothing. I just like nerds. I'm like, okay. Try to get her into cosplay. Try to get her into everything. Anything. Pokemon, anything, but no.
How old is she?
She's 20. She's about to be 25.
She's not a baby then. She's a full-on adult.
I think of her as the baby because I'm the oldest and she's the youngest of the four. So like in my mind, she's my baby sister. So
I'm the oldest and my youngest sister is 36.
Right.
Or 35. And yeah.
Do you not still think of her as like your
No, she has 3 kids. I have 0 I did not birth any children. I just have stepkids, but she's still the baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know
so
like my baby brother is getting ready to turn 40 soon. And I'm like, oh man. I'm like, but you know what? You're still that pain in the ass little 7-year-old. I don't beat the crap out of, you know? Like,
my 34th birthday is in September, and my sister was like, damn bitch, you're getting old. And I was like, what? I don't think that's old at all. I think old is like 70. You know?
No, bro. I'm like 4 heartbeats away from hitting 50 eventually. Like I'm literally like I turned 46 this year, and I was like, holy shit. Yeah. Well, yeah. I'd hope so.
As long as Botox still exists, I'm totally fine with aging.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm 40. So, Manny, are you cosplaying this year?
Unfortunately, no, I am not. Like I had really great plans for 2020, right? Like right before the pandemic.
Yep.
And we went out, and I went out and I bought costumes and all this stuff because that was going to be the first year that I was going to cosplay the entire weekend as female characters. I was like, you know what? It's time to just like let the gloves off and not give a crap. Who cares? This is what I'm doing. End of story. Like, period. Like, I do not care what anyone says. And that was like going to be like my breakout year, you know? And I was like, this is what I'm doing. And, you know, obviously the pandemic happened. So a lot of this stuff just wound up, I either wound up giving it away to friends and stuff like that, like some of the costume ideas and the costume stuff that I had. And so I don't really have anything. And there's not really anything that I'm like, oh, because when I like to cosplay, it's like I either do one or two things. I either cosplay like where I design something really well, or I totally like method act into like an actor role where I'm like, this is who I am as a person for this weekend, and I don't have any of that, honestly. So I'm probably just gonna, maybe I'll wear one of my fancy jackets and that's it, you know, like, but I don't have anything planned, unfortunately. Next year though.
All right.
I refilled. What did I miss?
You only met, like, we were just talking about cosplay stuff. So what are you cosplaying this year, Ashley?
Oh, that is a lot. Okay. I'm gonna do Hades Town again on Thursday. I'm also doing Suicide Squad on Thursday. I'm doing Ratcatcher, and my husband's looks exactly like the actor who played Javelin, so he is doing Javelin. Last year, I actually made my Ratcatcher costume for last year, and the group kind of fell apart because we decided to do it on Sunday. Don't plan big cosplay groups for Sunday. You're not gonna do them because everyone just wants to sleep that day. That is my words of advice. So we're gonna reprise that then. Doing Orpheus and Eurydice. There is a if you're into musical theater, the group. The theater group, I mean, it's not official, but it is trying to be official, is having a meetup that day. We got a ballroom for it, and it's going to be awesome. I'm going to show up to that. It's going to be great. So we're going to do that. There's going to be a lot of people in costume for it. Friday, I am doing, during the day, I believe I am doing Fire Emblem, 3 Houses. It's a Switch video game thing.
I know it.
Yeah, if you know what it is, you know what it is. I don't know how to explain it because it is one of those series that there's a billion different Fire Emblems, but this one I'm doing is specifically 3 Houses. So, at night I'm doing Hell of a Boss, Has Been Hotel. I'm doing Charlie. I am very excited for it. I am like, it started off as like, you know what? I could do this character as a classic cosplay. I could pull it off, you know. I could just pull these pieces together. But then I started watching TikToks. It was like, let me just look at the TikTok cosplayers, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm feeling jealous. I'm feeling like, you know, I could probably do this if I put effort into it, and I wouldn't look like trash. So I have actually put effort into it and started buying everything. So now I'm like screen accurate. I got contacts and like bangs and what have you. Anyways, I'm excited. That's my most excited for it because it is a brand new one, and I just kind of fell into it. I'm competitive.
Did you guys hear my dogs barking?
Yeah.
Oh, pet interruption. Sorry. So, oh God, for me, I am I'm reprising my steed from OFMD, sort of like bunny hutch thing, where
What
I
is
basically, our flag means death.
Okay.
So I basically just wear his robe with like lavender silks under it, and I do have some upgrades for this year, but I'm not talking about them because that's like, I'm doing this, but I have secret upgrades.
I'm dying to know your mystery cosplay. It's like, I'm going to lay in bed about it.
I will tell you, but I like not on this podcast because like I don't. It's really fucking stupid, but I'm very excited about it.
Now I'm excited about it.
then I've got like a general like AFC Richmond football player from Ted Lasso that I'm doing. I think, like, honestly, I have it scheduled for Thursday, but like most likely I'm gonna also wear it on Friday because like I'm not gonna wear it long enough either day to be a whatever.
Yeah.
So it's comfy is the TLDR. I have for Ice and FireCon this year, we did a masquerade, like a fancy masquerade party for our big Saturday night dance. And so I have a Viserys like tux outfit with like his mask and crown. So I'm probably going to wear that Friday night. I'm again, if I wear a costume Friday, it's just going to be re-wearing my AFC Richmond thing because it's comfortable, because I have to literally go from one panel to another for like 5 hours. Sunday, I'm going to actually wear a Ted Lasso, like the Ted Lasso, the character costume. But I don't think I'm going to wear a wig. I just have to like somehow like contain my hair under the visor. I'm probably gonna ask Nami, my roommate, to French braid my hair and tuck it up, so like you can't see that it's blonde, because I do have a mustache and the whole ass cosplay, but I'm not wearing a wig with this like heavy, tracksuit.
Right.
And then Sunday night Sunday night is just going to be Dragon Con disaster movie themed. So I am going to be a Hilton security. And I say that jokingly.
The security shirt, and I'm just like, I don't want people to actually think I'm really security.
Dude, I'm wearing this security t-shirt, like a fitted security t-shirt, and like short black shorts and sunglasses and like a fake earbud. Like nobody's gonna think I'm actually security, okay? Like, and if they do, honestly, joke's on them. But that's not going to be till, I don't know. Because the thing is, I have a private party because I'm part of the 13th Fleet, which is a BSG fan group. So they have private things going on all week long. So I have a private thing going on with them from Sunday evening. I'm not going to say the time because I don't need people who.
That's okay. There's like a Phantom of the Opera showing that night, so I'm going to be late to our party anyways.
Oh my God. Well, we better fucking.
I didn't make the schedule. I saw it. I have to go to that.
No. I'm just saying, side note, we better make fucking time to decorate our room earlier.
Yes, because we are both busy.
I'm happy to help if you guys need help.
But I mean, in terms of, okay, so parties, official Dragon Con party list, there's still like a website maybe that updates itself.
On Facebook, I found I was in the old group and it never posted anything, but I finally found the new group. There is a new group on Facebook and it is amazing. It's got everything listed. Just look for Dragon Con parties and it'll eventually show up. But it is great. And it's got so many parties listed. I mean, I can try to find it. It is called Dragon Con Parties, Meetups, and More. And it lists so many things going on at Dragon Con. It is absolutely something if you're looking for other activities to do that are not official. And it also has the official parties as well. Look for that. And they'll tell you which parties are, open for people in general.
Just joined. Awesome. Thank you. Oh yeah, that's a convenient Facebook page.
Yeah, because there are a lot of parties that people open up to the public that are not official parties that,
Yeah.
But obviously be respectful. I mean, a lot of these parties take place in people's rooms that they pay for. That is a big thing.
Well, I mean, so are any of you guys planning to go on and planning to go to any of the official parties?
I always want to go to that. I don't know if they're doing it this year, but is it called the Yuletide Ball, the Harry Potter ball thing? I've always
think
wanted
it's
to
at the
they're
Sheridan.
playing it.
I always go to the Star Wars one. What is that one? I can't remember that one's called.
Last party on Alderaan. I
yeah.
never want to wait in
I don't
those
think you
lines.
Yeah, I did the bunny hutch once, and the lineup was just like, you got in, but then you couldn't use the washroom because you would never get back in again.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, the same. I did bunny hutch once. We've gone to the Harry Potter one. A few
Yes, before
times.
they got moved. Because
Oh,
I
wait,
think
it-
they're in, or are they? Did it, or was
They
it they?
were-
Did they?
They
I might
they
be
were-
getting them mixed up.
Yeah, the last I knew they were in the Marriott, but I mean I won't be going to that again, but I also just I mean we waited in line like a little bit a couple times for the Harry Potter one. But it also just coincides with our with our
Yeah,
personal stuff. So like it's like
I think I'm getting
we
mixed.
can
I
get
think
in
it
for an
was
hour.
in the Sheridan, and now it's moved to the big hotels. But I used to go to the steampunk party, and it was one that was in the big hotels and got moved to the Sheridan. So I think that's where I was getting confused. It was a lot of fun. If you go to it, it will be a lot of fun, but you have to walk, which.
Well, I mean, people we know in person get invites to our party. So which is Sunday night, but I ain't giving you any information if I don't know you in person. Other stuff. I don't know. Does anybody care about guests this year?
I mean, I normally I got the email like, who do you want to interview? And I was like, I can't ask them about their work, so like, I'm kind of, no, not really. I also hate the idea of talking to someone and saying something that makes them uncomfortable because of this whole situation. So I'll just look from afar.
Yeah, I don't I'm trying to think about like other random stuff that I don't know.
I'm socially awkward, so like the guest list has never really been a thing for me. Because I do the podcast, I've gone to Game of Thrones once, but the lineup was just not really worth it for one that you can just see in your room. A lot of these panels, the ones with the big actors, you can just stay in your room and watch it. And I feel like that's a lot more comfortable because, I mean, in a panel room that size, you're not going to get the connection that you want to get with some of these creators. So,
yeah, unless you really want to go to like ask a question, I feel like it's I've always been surprised at the people that line up for like hours and hours. Which technically they're not supposed to line up until an hour before, but literally nobody.
Yeah, no, I love fan panels. That is my favorite thing. Like you said, the crazy theories for Game of Thrones one. That is so much fun. Like that kind of thing. I went to a Final Fantasy panel last year for 14, and it was like one of my favorite panels because it was just a bunch of fans talking about how much we loved the series it was just a bunch of people who wanted to talk about it, and those are the best panels. I've done that for a bunch of urban fantasy tracks because I also am really into urban fantasy, and that's it's just fun to meet people who really like that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I avoid panels with actors, and the fan panels, they don't sell out or fill up, so you can go at the right time, and they're the best ones to go to, in my opinion.
Yeah, God, I feel like I've been to fan panels, but more often I'm not going to say why, but I am on so many of them that I don't actually have time to go to the ones that I'm not on. So, but and listen, like,
Is this because you are an attending pro?
you said it. I don't think we have. Okay, we can drink, fine, whatever. God. But I wasn't. I mean, I wasn't for the first, 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017. I wasn't an attending pro, I think, until 2018. So for the first 7 years, I went to Dragon Con. I wasn't. I was just on a bunch of fan panels. And but I agree with you, Ashley. Like, even being on them, like, for me, being a panelist on a fan panel, and especially because I often get to be surprise moderator with the high fantasy track. Like, I'll show up at a panel and Jen, who is the high fantasy track director, was like, "Oh, you're the moderator for this one, by the way." And I'm like, "Oh, thank you. Didn't know." Which is like literally 90% of the time. Love Jen, love the high fantasy track. And it's honestly a joke between the two of us where she's just like,
I'm laughing because I've been there when you found out.
Yeah. But it's also a joke between the two of us. And I love the high fantasy track, and they're so great with how they organize their panels. Like, probably the best organized track I've ever been a part of. And that's not to diss other tracks. That's just saying they really do a good job of choosing panelists and having microphones available so that people in the audience can ask questions without where we can actually hear them. Everyone can actually hear them, even when the sound system is really bad, because the sound system in that room is fucking terrible. But I being on fan panels is kind of like, it's not about what the people up at the table are talking about, or it shouldn't be about what the people up at the table are talking about. Like, we're there to kind of respond to the audience, is my take on it, right? And I think High Fantasy Track does that really, really well, because and especially being a moderator of those panels, it's like, hey, I'm introducing this panel. We'll talk for like 15, maybe 20 minutes, and then it's open to questions, and it's all about the people in the audience and what they want to ask, what they want to talk about. So that's why I really love being on the fan panels, like, so much.
I think Jen, the fantasy track director, being a teacher is quite apparent because she's like on top of it and organized, and she does a great job.
Yeah. And I've been on a lot of really great fan panels at Dragon Con, and the ones I've been on that were not that great were very, very, very rarely the problem. Or it was very, very rarely a problem with the other people that were on them, and more an issue with just like the Apocalypse Rising one, where it was like,
Right.
what are you gonna do? Like, these people have a Dragon Con pass, and if they're gonna come in here and be an asshole, for lack of a better word, there's nothing you can do about it. But I don't know, Manny, have you gone to any, like, a bunch of fan panels? Or
Yeah, I have in the past. I had a few friends that had ran them. It was like a while ago.
It's a cat.
Don't ask me what it is because I was drunk. Maybe. So, but yeah, I did go to a few fan panels. I did kind of enjoy them more. I felt like they were a little more off the cuff because, obviously, I'm a little more like stream of conscious. I'm a little more off script kind of person. Um, Tara has actually brought me to the light about having scripts. So she's actually kind of changed my life a bit with that. But, back then I'm just a very kind of chaotic person. So it was kind of cool going to the fan panels and things were just kind of everywhere. I felt like it just wasn't like, I don't know. It was just kind of, I don't know. It was just kind of everywhere, I guess. I don't know. You guys keep making me drink and then you ask me these complex questions.
You have to be smart about that.
Oh, okay. What is your favorite thing to do at Dragon Con?
Yeah, because this is yours and Marcy's first time on this podcast, or webcast. So before we wrap up with other things, I want to know both of your favorite things about Dragon Con.
My favorite things, honestly, is just walking around. I probably walk about 30 miles a day at Dragon Con every day, honestly. Like, I do not stop. I'm one of those guys that I stay up until 7 in the morning because I go to the 4 a.m. raves. I go to, all those things. I go and I dance my ass off and I sober up and then I go out and get fucked again, and I just kind of keep fucking going and I keep fucking going.
We should be friends.
We should be friends, absolutely. And I just keep going, and I love going out. And back in the day, like the second year I went, it was really cool because I was more of an introvert back then. So it was really nice that people came up to me and spoke to me and stuff because I wasn't somebody who would just talk to someone. And that kind of broke that in me to where I was now I go to Dragon Con, I'll get a little wasted and I'll just start chit-chatting people up. And it's completely different from how I'm at in my normal life. So it's just kind of being somewhere else. The way I kind of describe it is this is how I would imagine me after death, if there was an afterlife. It's I'm very open and very just talking to everybody, and that's the biggest thing that I really enjoy is I love people watching. I love hanging out, meeting new people. I mean, dancing my ass off, at the rave where it's hot and cold in the same room, and I'm just that's what I live for, and I'm just that guy that I'm this train is not stopping. So it's 7 a.m. I'll go to bed, maybe, if I, if the party settles down. But we're doing, so when people roll with me there, I'm look, before you roll with me, you need to understand. We're going to the 1 a.m. rave. We're going to the 2 a.m. dance party. We're going this. And I'm not stopping. When you're ready to go home, you go have fun. But Manny, staying up all night, baby. All night.
That's fair. That's fair. You gotta take advantage of it while it's here.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, I apologize for my dog.
No, do not apologize for your dog.
He was just I want your attention now.
No apologies needed.
Oh, gosh.
I would say, I'd be lying if I said the vendors hall wasn't my favorite part. I have a custom dice tray with a custom dice cup. Okay, I love going to the vendors hall, but one thing I really, really enjoy is I've done a ton. I mean, when Sanderson did his first Dragonsteel panel, I flew to Utah and I was on every single panel but one at that convention. It was nonstop. And the audience was massive and it was a lot. But after panels, people would come up to me and there was a lot of theorizing panels. And people would come up to me and say, well, you said this about this theory. Well, what about this? And that happens at Dragon Con too, especially when I do Cosmere theorizing stuff. But people coming up to talk to me after a panel about something I've said, I love that because I can I have no problem diving deep I don't like chit chat. I want to deep dive for a good hour or two about who Odium's champion's going to be or whatever. That is my favorite part of Dragon Con. When post panel, someone comes up to me and wants to discuss something that we're talking about. Tara, I know you know what I'm talking about. It's I live for that. That is, as an introvert, as a very antisocial, not really into people, more of an animal person. The only time I really enjoy people is when we're having conversations about things like that. So,
am I the only extrovert?
I think so.
You might be. I mean, Dragon Con makes everybody an extrovert.
Yeah. Yes, I am most. That's why I always say, like, people talk about like con crud and whatever, but like for like a week after Dragon Con, I am so drained from that much social interaction that my phone is on do not disturb. I am not talking to anyone. My mother can blow my phone up. I don't care. I'm not answering. I cannot. Like, I'm done for like a week minimum. And then
See,
I'm
but
back to normal.
I can totally like relate to that. Like, you say some things and then someone asks you about something that you say, because being like an introvert, you're a shadow. You're someone that's in the background. You are like, introverts are the watchers, right? They're just the ones that like watch, and they very rarely let anyone in. Or so when you say something that in your brain is probably like, well, that probably sounds kind of dumb, and then all of a sudden someone is trying to tear apart your entire thought process, not in a bad way. They want to get to know it. They're like, oh
Right.
man, I get that. And at that point, it's like you're just like a singularity. You're just gonna suck them completely in now. You're like, all right, now you're mine. So I totally get that. Absolutely.
I love
100%.
that. It's I mean, I've finished a panel and then like met up with someone later, like, hey, can we talk later about this theory you had? And yeah, of course. I'll meet you at the Hilton courtyard at this time. And then we're like sitting at the Starbucks inside Hilton at 4 a.m. Like, security's telling us we got to get out, and we're still like 6 hours in, like having a conversation about this panel from earlier in the day. I love that. That is definitely my favorite part of Dragon Con. The deep dives into the panel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I love so much that because there are all of these tracks, all of these fan tracks, that there are so many different like fandoms that you can connect with, right? I never would have thought that I would. Really, guys? My dogs are whining. I never would have thought that I would connect with like video game track people, but that's what I did the past in 2019, not so much in 2021, just because things were so much less. But then last year again, when they had all the Red Dead stuff, like I met so many amazing people, including a friend that I never would have met were it not for the Red Dead stuff that happened last year. And then we got to reconnect at Tombstone Redemption in July. And now this person is like one of my close friends, like somebody that I met last year that I was like, okay, yeah, she's amazing. We're friends. And then we get to reconnect. And now we like have actually hung out in person a bunch for like a whole weekend. And now we're close friends. But it was all because of Dragon Con. And that's what I love about this convention. I mean, honestly, while Ice and Fire Con is on a hiatus because I needed a goddamn break. Okay.
Yeah,
After 10 years of doing this shit, I needed a fucking break.
sure.
But while it is on hiatus, it would not exist without Dragon Con.
Right.
It never would have existed without Dragon Con and the people that I met there. And I brought so many of my friends from Ice and Fire Con to Dragon Con, and Ashley is one of them. Like I met Ashley at Ice and Fire Con 2013, and then I was like, oh, hey, I have like a room at this hotel. It's not a host hotel, but I have a room at this other hotel. And
As someone who was really into cons, I had heard of Dragon Con. I'm like, I really want to go to Dragon Con, but that will never happen to me. And then
On that note, I had seen, so like, I have a lot to say about Brandon Sanderson, but for now, I'll just focus on the fact that I love Stormlight Archive.
same.
I had seen, but only Stormlight Archive. But I had seen someone do this like badass cosplay of Adolin from Stormlight Archive, like the most badass armor cosplay. Like, and I had seen a picture of it in a Dragon Con group, and I was like, I need someone to tell me who this is. This is awesome. I need to have a conversation with this person. This is the most badass cosplay. This is exactly what I picture in my mind. And shockingly enough, DragonCon being the community that it is, they were like, people in the comments were able to direct me to who was in this cosplay. Like, and you know, there's a helmet and everything, and you can't see their face. So they were like, this is who it is. And I reached out to that person, and that person is actually Tyler in the chat. And we've become great friends, and you know, we talk all the time.
Also is in love with Red Rising.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure I know Tyler because I want to say Sam from Game of Thrones is what he cosplayed. I could be wrong.
Tyler's the best. But if it wasn't for DragonCon, like seeing his cosplay and being like, this is absolutely fucking incredible. I have to meet this person. And then like DragonCon goers being like, okay, here's his Instagram, here's his whatever. And me getting in touch with him and just being like, hey, your cosplay is awesome. Can we please be friends? Join my cosplayer group on Facebook or whatever. And then like that was a few years ago, and like we're still good friends. Like we're gonna be hanging out at DragonCon this year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, in what other circumstance would I make a great friend just from a picture on the internet? You know, it's just, that's DragonCon to me.
And that's the crazy thing. Like, I saw Tyler commenting on stuff in Red Rising groups, and I think he said, like, yeah, Tara's great. And I was like, is this the guy who cosplayed Sam at some point, like a billion years ago? So wait, he also cosplays Adolin?
The most amazing cosplay you'll ever see. I promise you. Like,
oh my
his
god,
armor is exactly what, like, when you see it, he'll send you a picture or I will. Absolutely mind blowing. Like, so I don't know if he uses 3D printer or what, but like it is legitimate armor. It looks like shard plate. It's so badass. Like enough I like made the internet put me in touch with this guy.
Well, concluding question before we close out for the night. What are you most excited for from DragonCon this year? Manny, you go first.
Just meeting y'all, hanging out with y'all. You know, I just want to like have some drinks. I want to completely forget about normal life just for a few days. And you know what? Just that's the only thing. I just want to interact. That's it. I just want to interact and get completely wrecked at a rave at 4 a.m. That's what I want to do.
That's my normal weekend, but okay.
Okay, well, apparently I'm in the wrong town, I guess, because ain't nothing like that happening here. I just want to get wrecked at 4 a.m. Like, I don't care how old I am, okay? That's what I'm doing.
Oh, that's irrelevant when it comes to having a good time.
No one needs to talk about age. Yeah. We're all 21 at DragonCon.
Yes, you are forever 23.
Yeah, but that's probably like the biggest thing is just like reconnecting and like seeing people that I haven't seen really since 2019 because that was the last DragonCon I went to. So, I mean, that's what I'm looking forward to, man. Absolutely, hanging out, drinking, getting wrecked. That's it.
Fair.
All right, Ashley, what about you? What are you most looking forward to?
Hold on, do someone else first.
All right, Marcy, what about you? What are you most looking
think about it? I always really look forward to intellectual conversation. That is absolutely my favorite part. I mean, seeing people. I have so many people that like live in other states that I make a point to see during DragonCon. You know, so like seeing people, seeing cosplay, checking out of real life, like Manny said, is not only welcomed but like needed right now in my life. So great timing. Yeah, like just I'm like 80 at heart, but like you said, at DragonCon I'm 21. So like I'm looking forward to living life and having intellectual conversation and just not allowing myself to like be secluded in my bedroom. I'll be out and about doing things. I need that, and I'm looking forward to that.
All right, Ashley, are you ready yet?
Okay. Yeah. No, sorry. We have a young kitten that needs taken care of sometimes.
I have 2 dogs right now.
I mean, I mean, I love DragonCon so much. I have so many friends there. I just want to meet. I want to like see them all again. I'm so excited to see everybody. I'm really excited to go to all the photo shoots. That's a big thing. hanging out with people who like the same things as me. Like that is such a big deal. Like because I am an introvert, but at Dragon Con you wouldn't know that because I'm like, oh, you want to talk about this? I can talk about this. I have hyper focused on this for many a year. So yeah, I'm just so happy to be back and meet everybody who likes the same things as me. I am really excited about the Has Been Hotel Hell of a Boss because that is I don't know any of those people, but it's a community that just seems awesome, and I am happy to be a part of it, and I am excited to meet everyone there. I am excited to re-meet the Final Fantasy community. I hung out with them last year, and they were awesome people. Yeah, they were super great people. We ended up after the photo shoot last year, it turned into an impromptu dance party. It was amazing. It was like so many awesome people there. Like
Just like in game.
yes, that is exactly what happens in game. Get a bunch of us together, it turns into a dance party. So I just want to meet because like I don't know. I'm bad at talking because introvert. I just want to meet people who are into the same things I am into.
I'm picking up what you're putting down. I'm with you.
Yeah. God, for me, I honestly think so. I've got two fandoms that are like really strong for me right now, and they're not the ones anybody would suspect. I think. I mean, outside of like the past few years of the past many years of Dragon Con, but pet interruption. Ashley's holding your cat. So I'm really excited about two things. One is if you're a Red Rising fan, you need to hit me up on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever social media you utilize, because we're gonna try to do some Red Rising fan howler, etc.
That is what I'm looking for.
I don't know why I don't know why I said etc. We're trying to do some howler meetups.
This is absolutely
at Dragon Con this year.
I am so looking forward to that. I'm going to get a Red Rising tattoo with Tyler right before the meetup. So
I still need one, but I'm like fighting with myself over what I want. But if you are a Red Rising fan, please hit me up because we're gonna do at least one meetup, if not two. And then once I meet you in person, you will be invited to my secret parties. So there's that. But I am really excited because I missed out on a lot of the in-person Red Rising stuff that happened when Lightbringer was coming out at Comic-Con, et cetera, et cetera. So very excited to meet other Red Rising fans. And also, shit, what was the other thing? God damn it. I had it in my back pocket and now I just am like,
I have to write things down for that exact reason. Like I will absolutely forget what I was thinking.
Yeah, I was like, oh, Battlestar Galactica. So I finally became an official member of one of the Battlestar Galactica fan clubs. And well, I mean, this happened in 2020, but obviously 2020. So they're going to be back at Dragon Con with a whole bunch of their official activities, including their big Sunday night party and stuff. So I'm pretty excited to finally actually get to go to the fan club stuff. You don't necessarily have to like be a member, but you have to know the people. So I don't know. It's not like it's some super exclusive secret weird thing, but I'm just very excited about finally being part of the BSG like unofficial official fan group.
If you are into something, it is awesome to finally be part of the group.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I have a call sign, like because I joined. I was the first person who joined during the whole wetic thing. My call sign is lockdown, which I feel is like
I mean, it's kind of awesome.
it's
That's a good-
awesome, especially because it was a joke between like I was locked down or I am locked down because I joined during that time, and I am also locked down because I locked. So I locked my husband down, which is hilarious because I didn't want to do that, but it just happened. All right, so before we close out, what are you guys? What are you guys? What are ya guys? I've been drinking a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to have
Too much. Okay. What is the one last thing you want to say before I close out this episode? Manny, you go first.
I would like to remind everybody that I've been drinking a little bit. But what was the question again? What am I saying?
What is the last thing you have on mind about Dragon Con, or one last thought about this year's Dragon Con, pre-Dragon Con?
Yeah, I'm a little nervous. I'm a little apprehensive about it, just because I haven't been in a while. I haven't been around a group of people in 3 years now, pretty much. So I'm a little apprehensive about it, but I think once I get in the door, then I think I will be just fine. So I think that's about it. Also, going back to that Red Rising, I don't know if you remember, but you actually what do you call? I was going to Miami one time. And you had suggested that book, and I don't think I ever told you that I actually did get the book. And I think I got about halfway through it, and then I just kind of forgot that I had it because I was doing I was really into it or whatever. But I do plan on finishing it because I really did enjoy it. It was actually really good. So eventually, I will get caught up with everybody else in that series, and then I can actually talk about it.
I will say this: if you do audiobooks, but you want something a little different, they actually have audio dramas available now for both Red Rising. So you've already gone through Red Rising, but they have an audio drama also available for Golden Sun, and I've heard it is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
So
I would rather do the audio drama.
And
I
the
enjoy
first
audio
book
dramas.
is by far the weakest. I just want
Yes.
to go there. It gets
Okay.
so much better. The first book feels so Hunger Games to me. It's still good, but it gets
it's so good.
much better. Tara will back me
Okay.
up on this.
Yeah.
Well, shit.
Yeah.
Then I'm really gonna like it then.
It's my favorite series, and I read a fuck ton. Okay, it's my all-time favorite series.
I think like for the longest time, I think it was like supposed to be ASWAF that was my favorite series, but honestly, no, Red Rising.
Yeah,
And also the Red Rising fandom is way
Yes.
better.
They're not.
It is way better. It's way better.
Mhm.
So Marcy, what about you?
I would say
A couple things you're looking forward to or whatever from Dragon Con this year.
I'm just gonna give a little advice. I beg of you to stay hydrated. So important. Like for every drink, have some water. Okay, Manny, that applies to you as well.
I have learned my lesson. I promise.
Do your skincare. Wash your makeup off at the end of the night, especially if you're doing heavy cosplay makeup. Ladies, watch your drinks. I haven't heard of that being an issue at Dragon Con, but can't be too safe. And don't leave valuables in sight in your car if you park somewhere nearby. And Hail Reaper. That's it.
Hail Reaper. All right, Ashley, what about you?
Basically, if you make a schedule for yourself, don't be heartbroken if you don't keep to it.
Yes.
Be flexible, because you will never make it to anything on time. You will never do everything that you want to do, but you might end up doing things that you didn't expect to do that are absolutely awesome. And that came out sounding worse than I thought it would, but just, go with the flow. And you know what? There are great opportunities around every corner. There is a party in every room, and everyone just wants to be your friend. Like, of course, there are poor actors everywhere, but for the most part, people here just really just want to meet you and be open to that, because it can open up great friendships that will last a lifetime.
Yeah. No, I agree. I don't even know what to say beyond all of that, other than don't be afraid to talk to people, even if you're an introvert, because everybody
Because
wants
we
to
are
talk to you.
introverts here.
If we can do it, you can do it.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
If all three of the other people on this webcast can do it, which is hilarious to me, because like, how did I end up being the only extrovert?
Because you adopt us. That's what extroverts do. They adopt introverts.
That's what it is. You know what it is? I think to me is I'm just like I'm like an egg. You know, like I'm very much of an introvert. But as soon as you just grab me and just kind of crack me on the pan, then to you I'm gonna be very extroverted. I'm gonna talk to you. I'm gonna like, but you gotta crack that egg first. You know.
I've told Tara before she's like human Xanax, because when we were paneling together, it just made me so comfortable. So I think that's why you attract introverts. Like, we just feel like you got it. You're good. You know, well, we're good because you're good.
Patrick was like, I'm getting a little misty. And then as you see on the highlights here, Dragon Con is truly fucking magical. I agree.
For sure.
I don't really try to adopt introverts, but apparently it's the thing that because also I'm pretty sure all of my roommates this year are introverts. So there's that too.
Hey, we're good people.
Listen, I'm not judging or anything. I'm just like, I should I feel bad that I'm
just don't be offended if we don't talk to you for a week afterwards, because we're recharging.
I'm forcing my introvert friends into being like.
No, it's fantastic. We just go to you for guidance. We're like, how do we talk to people? Tell us.
I don't think it's that so much, but more like, oh,
we
look,
don't say it. We
Sarah's
just
available.
walk next to you.
Yeah.
While
We just walk next,
You
exactly.
friend everyone.
I
She's
can
going to
fake
show us
it.
the way.
I can fake the funk. I can act like an extrovert. It's just afterwards I'm so drained that I'm like, everybody leave me alone. I'm going to go take a nap. You know, it's draining.
Well,
I feel
for
that.
all you introverts at Dragon Con, apparently you can just come find me and I will adopt you.
She'll
As Daniel
adopt you.
said, the introvert Sherpa.
Yes. Yes.
That's perfect.
All right. Well, any last thoughts from any of you guys before I close out? No? We good? Yes. Hydrate. Buy yourselves, eat some
Get a water
vitamins.
bottle. That's nice. There are lots of water stations.
Yeah.
refill.
Yeah. But also bring soap to wash your water bottle on a regular basis, because if you carry it around and refill it, you touch it, you touch other things, be safe. All right, as we close out the episode, just want to give a shout out to our Heroes to Your patron, Tommy of the TKOK Podcast Network. Thank you so much for supporting us. Thank you again for joining us for Thank you again for supporting us for Drinkin Con. Wow, no, I can't talk.
Thanks for coming to Drinkin Con.
It's okay. Everything's fine. Thanks again for joining us for Drinkin Con 7.0. We'll be back with our post-Dragon Con show, Drinkin Con The Hangover.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know when yet. It's going to, honestly, I've got some family illness things happening. So it is either going to be on Friday, September 8th or Saturday, September 16th. I don't know. I will update as soon as I do. But thank you guys so much for joining us. Have a lovely night. If you find me at Dragon Con, mention that you watched this webcast and I will give you one of my very few and coveted.
You want the ribbons.
Yes.
Ribbons
One of
are
my
life.
very few and coveted Drinkin Con ribbons. So have a good night, y'all.
I think Ashley and Manuel
Good night.
co-signed. Thanks, Tara. Thanks for hosting.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And
Thank you,
also,
guys.
whoever's watching it, find me at the rave at 4 a.m. I will be there, I promise.
I will
be there.
find you, Manny.
You will
I'll
find me, yes.
All right, y'all have a good night.
Good night.
Oh, she